c. 2682. c. 2682. Chen Xiang had went to the God Red Mountain before, and that was one of the sects of the Fire Way. From Tai Shangzhen's tone, it seemed that the relations Hi+P between the Fire Way and the Sword Way was not very good. Senior Sword Spirit, back then, have you ever heard of the Tao of Fire? Chen Xiang asked. Fire Path. Of course, but at that time, Fire Path was still very young. How is it now? One of the three great roads, Chen Xiang said. Original Tao was kicked out? This is also normal. It's not strange that the original Tao's weird Tao is kicked out. The way of fire is something that many people cultivate. It's not strange that they would become their own Tao. The Sword Spirit said, what is the relations Hi+P between these three? I'm not too sure. In short, the relations Hi+P between the Tao of the Sword and the Tao of Heaven isn't very good. It doesn't seem to be very close to the Tao of Fire either. Chen Xiang said. With the heavenly Tao style of doing things, they often engage in internal strife as well as engaging in other Taos of their own. The Sword Spirit said. Just at this moment, Chen Xiang sensed a strong aura of flames approaching him, while the seniors in Tai Shangzhen's group all became cautious, looking in one direction. Ha! So he was a friend of the Sword Tao. Yo, there's also people from the Pill Tao. Their lineup is quite strong. The speaker was a middle-aged man. He was riding a handsome, blazing horse, galloping over. Aren't you two ahead of us? What took you so long? Tai Shangzhen asked. The main reason is that the road ahead is difficult to walk on. We've come back now, ready to take the other way. Do you want to come with us? The middle-aged rider asked. Fire Path wasn't weak at all, and there were many people. They must have fought a great battle here before, or else there wouldn't be such a dense and scorching aura remaining. And now, in an area that even they were unable to cross, those in the path of the sword would definitely encounter many dangers in the past. Tai Shangzhen and the other seniors communicated with their consciousness for a bit, and then decided to travel with the people from Fire Path. It could be seen that although they had their own conflicts, they were not too strong, especially in this kind of situation. Those fellows from the Heavenly Tao should be arriving soon. We have to hurry up and not let them snatch all the benefits away. After the middle-aged rider finished his sentence, he punched his fist into the air, causing a stream of flames to erupt high into the air. After a while, a rumbling sound could be heard, and 1,000 horses rushed out from the mountain. They were all horses that were burning in flames. Seeing the people from the Fire Way, Tai Shangzhen and the others all took a deep breath. Is that all you have left? Tai Shangzhen asked in surprise. Yes, more than 2,000 died. The middle-aged man dismounted from his horse with a sorrowful look on his face. Especially at the front, when he encountered a group of extremely powerful savage beasts. How can this be? Your powers should not be any weaker than the Heavenly Tao. If they can make it through, you should be able to too. The God Murdering Mountain Elder asked. A lot of those guys from the Heavenly Tao also died. We saw their bodies on the way, they must have taken a detour. The middle-aged man said, according to the route on the map, we will have to walk for another 2 years. We rarely went in this dangerous zone. Even if someone went in, we never came out again. Hopefully, we can return safely after this trip. Tai Shangzhen sighed. Chen Xiang was actually shocked. It took him more than 2 years to walk here, and it was even within a very large danger zone. The face of the elder of God Murdering Mountain suddenly changed and said, Is it the disciples of your Fire Way? There is a large group of creatures approaching. They should be around the size of horses. No, it's a herd of beasts. The middle-aged man's expression suddenly changed, and he shouted to the group of disciples behind him, Prepare to fight. Chen Xiang was still in the forest. He was standing on top of a big tree, looking at the depths of the desolate mountain, where sand and dust were rolling down, and the barren mountains were disappearing, but they were all flattened by the beast's energy, which covered the sky and covered the earth. What kind of savage beasts are they? Tai Xiangjin asked anxiously. Steel tiger herd. The middle-aged man said, You must also be careful. When attacking, remember the eyes of the steel Tichor tiger. That is the easiest place to pierce. Chen Xiang did not plan to partake. 1p. 8 in the battle, he was the one with the lowest cultivation in the group. He would watch. Just as the sandstorm was about to engulf them, the middle-aged man suddenly jumped to the front and threw a punch towards the sandstorm. Bang! The middle-aged man's fist shook and an explosion occurred, forming a scorching hot chi which blew away the sand and dirt. So strong! Chen Xiang had thought that the sandstorm would envelop them, but he didn't expect that he would be sent flying by the middle-aged man's punch. At this time, the group of steel tigers had also appeared. They were fighting tigers whose bodies were covered in sparkling fine steel. Their mouths were full of sharp steel teeth, and they charged over like a surging tide. In the blink of an eye, it had completely enveloped the incoming steel tiger. The middle-aged man held a large blade in his hand, turned into a rainbow of light, and in the process of in, he had hacked apart dozens of steel tigers. There should be at least several tens of thousands of steel tigers. Chen Xiang watched from afar, and at this time, the disciples of the Sword Tao had also joined the battlefield. It had to be said that although the number of disciples of the Sword Tao was few, the number of disciples who managed to kill the steel tiger was no less than the disciples of the Fire Tao. These disciples were all carefully selected, with extremely high cultivations and decent strength. They were instantly able to stab out thousands of sword strikes, and their movement techniques were all very outstanding. Being surrounded by tigers, they were all very skilled, and when they attacked, they could even behead a few steel tigers. An hour later, the corpses of tens of thousands of steel tigers were scattered all over the place. Blood dyed this desolate land that was close to the mountain forest, and the strong stench of blood made people feel nauseous. Not a single human died. How powerful! Chen Xiang had just witnessed the power of experts in the way of the sword and the way of fire. The young disciples were also outstanding, and against such a group of berserk steel tigers, not a single one of them were injured. And before, the Fire Tao army had lost 2,000 people. From this, one could see that the herd of beasts they encountered was much more terrifying. Otherwise, with just their momentum alone, they wouldn't have backed down. This is still the weaker ones. The strongest ones are still up ahead. Even though we have joined hands, we might all die inside if we were to face those fearsome savage beasts. Let's take a detour, the middle-aged man said. The group rested for 3 days, then began their journey, led by the men from Fire Path. Chen Xiang just followed behind them, and they were even using counterpower. He felt that even if he met with a beast tide, he would probably be fine, but for safety's sake, he still followed this group of people. There were many groups of beasts on the way, so it was obvious that very few people came into the dangerous zone. Those groups could have been 4,000 or 5,000 at the very least, or over 100,000 at the most. They didn't really want the corpses, but Chen Xiang felt that it was a pity and stealthily accepted all of them. C-2683. C-2683. It would take about 2 years for them to reach that place. Chen Xiang felt a little tired just thinking about it, and walking all the way to that place would also be a great test of perseverance. Chen Xiang was the most relaxed of them all, it was just following behind them. The disciples of Fire Path and Sword Tao all fought hard and got injured while bleeding hard. After walking for half a year, the original 1,000 people of Fire Path had already died over 200 years. Although there were not many disciples of the Sword Tao, but their overall strength was very fierce and not a single one of them died. This was all thanks to the few people of the Pill Tao. Don't these guys have any spatial magic treasures for carrying people? If we put them inside, it would be much more convenient to leave along with them. Although Chen Xiang didn't need to help out, following the road for more than half a year was still very arduous for him. Of course, he had gained a lot. He was in charge of collecting the corpses of the savage beasts from the back. In his divine sense sea world, the corpses of the savage beasts were piled into a mountain. It's not our choice to keep killing like this. If only we could have discovered those groups of savage beasts earlier. However, these groups of wild beasts first noticed us, and then they pounced on us. Tai Shangzhen said. After so many days, he also felt tired. Moreover, he did not know how many hordes of barbarian beasts he would have to kill in the future. He did not know how strong the horde of barbarian beasts would be in the future. Our spiritual perception isn't as sharp as those savage beasts. I have a heavenly spirit crow, but it's just that it's sleeping. As long as I wake up, my heavenly spirit crow will be able to easily detect the savage beasts around me. The middle-aged fire Dao cultivator said. If that's the case, then that's great. How long will it take for him to awaken? Tai Shangzhen asked. More than 10 days. Every time this heavenly spirit crow sleeps, it needs to sleep for a whole year. Counting the time now, it should be about right. The middle-aged man said. Then I will rest here for 10 days and heal my injuries. I will continue advancing once the heavenly spirit crow wakes up. Tai Shangzhen said, and all of the higher-ups of the other sects nodded their heads in agreement. The people from Fire Path also didn't have any objections. After all, everyone was very tired after so many days. At this time, Chen Xiang retreated a bit and hid in the hollow of an old tree. He took out a 6 realms mirrors and sat on top of it. They've rested for more than 10 days. I'll make some pills while I'm at it. Chen Xiang took out 3 types of high-quality heaven's divine medicine. He was the one who had helped Tai Shangzhen hunt poison tiger last time, the one that Tai Shangzhen gave him. He grew many high-grade heavenly G.O.D. medicines last time, but he did not have the time to refine them. I wonder what kind of medicinal herb it is. Eat and have a look first. Chen Xiang took out a bean-sized red fruit and pinched it soft. He placed it in his mouth and chewed it a few times before this red fruit immediately burst apart. After he bit off the red fruit, the juice inside splattered in his mouth. A scorching heat suddenly burst out from his mouth and rushed toward his throat. Ah! Chen Xiang shouted, and immediately used both hands to choke his throat, and then continued to cough non-stop. His face was currently flushed red, hot and spicy, and flames continuously spewed out of his mouth as he coughed. What the hell is this? It's spicy to death. Chen Xiang coughed for an entire hour, almost coughing out his gall bladder. Although he did not know what it was, he knew that the power of this little red fruit contained an extremely strong flame primitive Tao power. Other than that, it also had a very unique effect. After eating it, it can make the rule Tao line in his divine sense C become lively. Just now, he had felt that the rule Tao line in the divine sense C had absorbed a lot of primitive Tao power under the effect of that energy. Looks like this fruit can let rule Tao line absorb the energy from the Tao God soul. In that case, this is something that can strengthen rule Tao line. But how do we cultivate the second rule Tao line? Chen Xiang didn't understand anything about this, so he asked the Sword Spirit. Senior Sword Spirit, right now, I am at the first level of the Tao God realm. I only have one rule Tao line. How can I cultivate the second one quickly? That's easy. First, you have to be strong enough in your Tao meridian. That way, your Tao meridian will be stable on the second day. Once your Tao meridian is strong enough, you will need to use a Tao stone to exchange for the power of law corresponding to your celestial sect of wonders. The Sword Spirit said, as long as you have a Tao stone, you can go to the myriad Tao's divine steel and exchange for the power of law. This will consume a lot of Tao stones. Chen Xiang had never tried it before, so he did not know much about it. Who created the myriad Tao divine steel? Is there anyone controlling it? Chen Xiang asked again. Of course there are. They are controlled by all of them, and they are normally located in the number 1 sect of a great Tao. For example, the myriad Tao's divine steel for the way of the sword is located in the vicinity of the God murdering mountain. The sword spirit said. Nope. Although Chen Xiang had wandered around God murdering mountain for a few days, he had never seen any sort of myriad Tao divine steel. Doesn't this mean that I am currently unable to cultivate the second meridian? There was no myriad Tao divine steel nearby. Of course, otherwise how could there be so many people under God murdering mountain? It was all for the sake of obtaining the power of law at any time. The sword spirit said, "Let's talk about it when we get back. This matter isn't urgent anyway." Chen Xiang nodded his head, then took out his little red fruit and refined it into a pill. After consuming it, his basic rule Tao line would seem to be extremely hungry, continuously devouring the energy released by the Tao God soul, and after devouring it, it gradually became stronger and stronger. Chen Xiang also didn't know if he could use the power of SPAC after cultivating the spatial rule Tao line. He looked inside the divine sense C, and saw that one end of the rule Tao line was connected to the Tao God soul and the other end to the fire profound gate. After 7 or 8 days, Chen Xiang felt that his basic rule Tao line had become much stronger. He, who was inside the tree hole, suddenly noticed the movements of the group. He immediately walked out of the tree hole and used counter power to go invisible. Elder Zhong, what exactly is up ahead? You're an elder, yet you're injured so severely. The middle-aged man from the fire Tao had a serious expression on his face. The old man from the pill Tao had already given the old man a pill. Yes. It's the dragon wolf. There's a group of dragon wolf in front of us. Let's quickly take a detour. We can't follow the directions on the map anymore. The old man said. They had taken a detour a long distance before, but now they had finally returned to the route on the map. If they took a detour, it would take a longer time to reach Myriad Tao Mausoleum. Dragon wolf. It's that kind of barbaric beast that evolved from devouring dragon power. Looks like I'll have to take a detour. Tai Shangzhen said. Chen Xiang was very clear of Elder Zhong's strength. He had seen Elder Zhong's attacks several times, and they were all very strong, but he was injured by some dragon wolf. How many dragon wolf? The white-robed elder asked. 30. Elder Zhong said. The number of 30 could be said to be very small, because the group of savage beasts they faced before numbered in the tens of thousands. However, when they heard about this number of dragon wolf, the faces of all the strong warriors changed slightly. Let's hurry. The dragon wolf might catch up. This book is from 17K, so the first thing I'll do is to look at the original content. See 2684. See 2684. Originally, they planned to hurry back after the heavenly spirit crow awakened, but because they were afraid of the dragon wolf, they had to hurry back. Otherwise, the dragon wolf would catch up and cause them a lot of damage. Chen Xiang did not know how strong the dragon wolf were. Just 30 of them were enough to scare the group of experts. Could it be that the experts of the divine wasteland only have this kind of strength? Chen Xiang asked the sword spirit and told it about the dragon wolf. Didn't you say that many of the divine wasteland's divine arts were lost? And all the strong warriors went to that myriad Tao mausoleum, so it is normal for divine wasteland to be so weak. The sword spirit sighed. If the sword ancestor God had been here all those years ago, dealing with that kind of dragon wolf would have been a piece of cake. As long as their strength had reached a certain point, they would all go to the myriad Tao mausoleum. Thus the number of experts in the sects would become fewer and fewer, and their legacies would gradually be lost. Thus the divine wasteland's overall strength would gradually decline. And the majority of the people who could pass south through this dangerous place alone were very strong. They could take charge of themselves. If not, they would not be able to smoothly enter the myriad Tao mausoleum. Senior, Could it be that you don't know what dragon wolf are? Chen Xiang was extremely curious. He guessed that the dragon wolf had the blood of dragons, and those people just now had mentioned the eternal dragon power. I don't know. This kind of thing was clearly born later on. The sword spirit said, if I were to encounter it, I might be able to figure out what it is. Chen Xiang curled his lips, then followed that group of people. Currently, they were moving a lot faster, as if they were very worried about being killed by the dragon wolf. This made Chen Xiang more curious about those dragon wolf. Although he was curious, Chen Xiang would not go and take a look at those dragon wolf. If those dragon wolf were very heaven-defying, then he would be done for. Chen Xiang followed that group of people for a few days, and on the way they were extremely quiet. They did not encounter any beasts, and the dragon wolf that made everyone panic did not chase up. My divine duck woke up. He took out a very small cage with a very small bird inside it. The cage gradually grew larger, and the bird inside did not look that small anymore. It was actually a snow-white crow. The crow cried out twice before speaking in human language. There's someone at the back, someone at the back. It's a human. Chen Xiang's heart trembled. The heavenly spirit crow was truly powerful. It had actually discovered him. He continued to use the counter power to hide himself. Everyone was also shocked. There was actually someone following behind them. Just thinking about it sent chills down their spines, yet they did not know about it. Who the hell are they? Then, he placed the heavenly spirit crow on his shoulder. A golden light shot out from the heavenly spirit crow's eyes onto Chen Xiang's body. When Chen Xiang was hit by the golden light, he immediately appeared, and after the golden light disappeared, no one could see him anymore. Yes. Little brother Shen. Tai Shangzhen was shocked, Chen Xiang being able to follow them here, and not only that, just with this ability, he was able to make many rankers admire him. Chen Xiang withdrew his counterpower, allowing himself to appear. He smiled at Tai Shangzhen. Senior Tai. He is my friend. Tai Shangzhen anxiously said. He also saw that the higher-ups of Fire Wei and other sects were dissatisfied with this as well. He followed me here. That means he isn't a person of the Pill Dao, nor is he someone of the Sword Dao. The middle-aged man from the fire path said with a cold voice. No, I was just curious about the Myriad Tao Mausoleum, that's why I came here. Chen Xiang said. Then, how did you get here? Just go back. If you continue to follow us, don't blame me for being ruthless. The speaker was an old man of the Sword Dao. How can that be? If he were to go back by himself, it would be extremely dangerous. Tai Shangzhen looked at the old man, his voice cold. Chen Xiang had helped him so much, how could he let Chen Xiang take the risk to go back on his own? Tai Shangzhen looked at the higher-ups of the sects, and only a few of them nodded towards him. They had a good relations, Hi+P with him, and had agreed to let him stay behind, but most of them didn't want Chen Xiang to follow them. Alright, since everyone disagrees, I will also withdraw. I will escort him back. Tai Shangzhen snorted. He had already decided to send Chen Xiang back to the Myriad Tao Mausoleum. Chen Xiang did not want to make things difficult for Tai Shangzhen, so he anxiously said, Senior, do not worry, I am hiding my special ability, the beasts will not be able to find me. That won't do, didn't the heavenly spirit crow discover you already? It's very dangerous for you to be by yourself, I'll send you back. Tai Shangzhen was his benefactor, so no matter how much he risked his life, he had to protect Chen Xiang. He immediately activated counterpower and started to run. Tai Shangzhen also did not know where he was right now. Just when Tai Shangzhen was panicking, he heard Chen Xiang's laughter. Senior Tai, I'll be leaving first. Maybe I'll be able to rush to Myriad Tao Mausoleum before you. Why do you have to go through all this trouble? Tai Shangzhen sighed helplessly. Although everyone rejected Chen Xiang, they had to admit that his strange technique was indeed powerful, allowing him to become invisible. Furthermore, he had concealed his presence well, and they had not discovered him during this half a year. Divine crows, did that person go far? Which direction did he go? The middle-aged fire Tao cultivator asked. I went far, far away. With that, the divine crow flapped its wings and flew in the direction in which Chen Xiang had escaped at an extremely fast speed. Chen Xiang, who was sprinting, sensed that something was following behind him. He turned around and was shocked in his heart. This lousy crow can actually fly, and at such a fast speed? Broken bird, why are you following me? Chen Xiang asked. Make sure you didn't go too far. The heavenly spirit crow said. Why can you fly? Chen Xiang asked again. Secrets, secrets. The heavenly spirit crow's voice carried a tinge of laughter. Chen Xiang really wanted to capture the heavenly spirit crow, but he would definitely be infuriated. Chen Xiang ran frantically for a few hours before the heavenly spirit crow returned. It's all the fault of this D-A-M-N bird. Chen Xiang spat. Chen Xiang had already returned to the location where he had found the dragon wolf, and had secretly glanced at the map. Even though it was only a glance, it was still imprinted in his mind. Looks like we can only walk on the path of dragon wolf. The dragon wolf did not catch up either, scaring them so much that they ran away. Chen Xiang rested for a long time, then started to move. He was still holding on to the 6 realms mirrors, planning to hide inside it once he met with a situation. Chen Xiang madly rushed for a while, but did not meet any dragon wolf, and entered a very hot ancient forest. Senior Sword Spirit, why can that broken bird fly? Chen Xiang had never been able to understand it. This book came from 17K. The first thing he did was to look at the true content of the book. C2685. C2685 Chen Xiang had tried using the 6 realms mirrors, but he couldn't fly. Previously, when he was in Primitive Land, he could also fly with the little vermilion bird, but he couldn't do it here. Because that broken bird has the law of flight, so it can fly. The sword spirit said with a smile, if you want to fly, then find a way to practice the law of flight. However, the law of flight can be considered a very rare law. There is actually such a law. Chen Xiang was very surprised at this. Because the law limits the flight speed, so there is the law power to break through the flight limit. The sword spirit said, if you were to find the myriad Tao divine steel, you would have found out how difficult it is to obtain the law of flight, so many people chose not to fly. Chen Xiang actually wanted to go to the myriad Tao divine steel to take a look, but he was in a dangerous area now, so it was impossible for him to return. He had already walked for more than half a year on this road. Therefore, he could only brace himself and continue forward. According to the map, as long as we pass through the forest with Dragon Wolf, we would be able to reach a desert. Chen Xiang recalled the map. If they took a detour, they would definitely pass through that desert, and if I said through the forest faster, I would be able to catch up to them. Sing through the forest was the same as walking straight to the desert. If one took a detour, they would need to walk in a big circle to reach the desert. Several days had said, and Chen Xiang didn't discover anything within the forest. That elder Zhong had only entered the forest for a few days before meeting those dragon wolf and returning with heavy injuries. Could it be because I used counter-power stealth that I was not discovered by the dragon wolf? Chen Xiang felt that it was very possible that the dragon wolf could not detect him. This was a good thing for him. He wouldn't need to worry about encountering danger in this forest. Chen Xiang was carefully running in the forest. Because he could not fly, and because his shrinking step could more or less make a lot of noise, when he was running frantically, he made quite a few noises. At first, Chen Xiang was worried that he would attract Dragon Wolf, but after running for a few days, he did not discover anything. However, about 10 days after he entered the forest, he suddenly heard a wolf howl. Hearing the voice, Chen Xiang subconsciously jumped onto a nearby big tree, and jumped up and down a few times. Not long after he climbed up the tree, he saw a wolf covered in golden dragon scales pounce at the spot where he was just standing. Is this the dragon wolf? Chen Xiang held his breath. When the dragon wolf came over, its aura was extremely terrifying. There was only one dragon wolf here. He was sniffing the smell on the ground. Chen Xiang gulped down his saliva. This dragon wolf was indeed very strong, just its head alone was enough to frighten him, especially those terrifying waves of dragons. Although he was afraid, Chen Xiang wanted to kill the dragon wolf more. This dragon wolf was as big as a horse. Compared to many other savage beasts, this one was considered very small. However, the aura it exuded was extremely powerful, similar to that of a dragon's. The dragon wolf was very cautious. It caused him to be sure that his senses were not wrong. Just now, he had been running frantically here, but when he called for his comrades, he suddenly disappeared. Chen Xiang carefully took out the heavenly magic sword, and then changed it into the Nine Shao Divine Bow. Senior Sword Spirit, I saw the dragon wolf. I have already turned the heavenly magic sword into a bow. Chen Xiang said to the sword spirit, Can you always give me a bit of strength? I'm worried that my arrows will not be able to pierce through this guy's body. The sword spirit immediately sensed his surroundings. After discovering the dragon wolf, he exclaimed, So this is the dragon wolf. There's a very strong primal dragon way energy in your body. Primordial Tao of dragon energy. Chen Xiang felt that this should be something similar to the ancient dragon power, but the way they were addressed was different. This is the power of the original Tao, the power of the primordial ancestral dragon, in other words, the dragon path. Be it humans or beasts, they can all cultivate in the Tao of dragon, but the power of the dragon path is not an ordinary power of laws. Only the people from the original Tao have this power. It's especially powerful. The dragon wolf should be a wolf-type savage beast that has absorbed the primordial dragon's Tao energy. Going to the myriad Tao divine steel is unable to exchange for primordial Tao of dragon energy? Chen Xiang asked, You even have the power of the law of flight? No, if there was, original Tao would not have formed one of the three great Taos, and although he was the weakest and had a small number of disciples, neither the heavenly Tao nor the way of the sword dared to bully him. It can be seen how strong he is, and most of their power came from this primitive Tao power. If you want to pierce through this fellow's scales, you will need to condense an extremely strong G.O.D. slaying sword force in order to break through his defense. This is not a difficult matter for you or me. The sword spirit said. All right, I'll condense the G.O.D. slaughtering sword's power right now. Chen Xiang used the mental cultivation method from the G.O.D. murdering sword techniques to condense the sword force. At this time, he could also feel the sword spirit releasing a very strong sword force, fusing with his and condensing an arrow. This guy shouted just now. He should be calling for his companions. We have to get rid of him as soon as possible. Chen Xiang immediately pulled the bow open and shot out an arrow, which pierced the dragon wolf's head. Done. Chen Xiang immediately went over, grabbed the dragon wolf's corpse and threw it inside the Yu Yao mountain villa. Then he hastily jumped away from the place he was at and arrived at a tree. He did not need much strength to kill a dragon wolf just now, which made him very excited. Senior, do you think we can continue? Chen Xiang asked. Although he had already gotten one, he felt that it was not enough. Up to you. Just be careful. The sword spirit said. Very quickly, 5 dragon wolf came over. All of them were relatively close, and were able to make it here in time. Chen Xiang took a deep breath and condensed 5 arrows from the 9 heavens divine bow, each of which was aimed at the 5 dragon wolfs. The 5 dragon wolf seemed to know that their companions had died, and started howling in anger. Just as they were howling, the 5 arrows from the 9 Shao G.O.D. bow shot out, piercing through the heads of the 5 dragon wolf. The dragon wolf instantly fell to the ground. Chen Xiang went over and put the dragon wolf's corpse away. then very carefully left the place. As long as he used the shrinking step to slowly walk, there would be no sound. When he used the counterpower, not only did he become invisible, he also completely concealed his aura. As long as he did not encounter something like the heavenly spirit crow, he would not be discovered. Before Chen Xiang left, he encountered more than 10 dragonwolf, but he did not make a move. There were far more than 30 of them, or at the very least a few hundred. Therefore, he decided to stay away from this place to avoid any unexpected incidents that might cause him to fall into a predicament. This book came from the 17K section, so the first thing he did was to look at the original content. See 2686. See 2686. After entering the depths of the forest, Chen Xiang realized that there were not only dragon wolf-s, but also dragons, lions, dragons, and tigers. They were all savage beasts which possessed the primordial dragon's Tao energy, and there were many of them. The dragon wolf he had encountered before was relatively weak. Originally, Chen Xiang wanted to kill a dragon ape, but the dragon ape was very strong. Even with his 9 heavens divine bow, he was unable to pierce through it, and his position was also detected by the dragon ape. If not for the fact that he was fast, he would definitely have been injured by the dragon ape. These savage beasts with the origin stones are truly terrifying. Chen Xiang was finally free from the dragon ape's chase and heaved a sigh of relief. He had been chased for an entire month. There are already many strong fellows hidden in the divine wasteland. This kind of savage beast is only the tip of the iceberg. I guess there must be something even more terrifying hidden in that myriad Tao mausoleum. The sword spirit said. Chen Xiang was currently resting and was chased continuously for a month. He was extremely tired, and there were a few times where he was almost hit by the dragon ape behind him. Not only is this guy powerful, he also possesses extremely high intelligence. That dragon ape in particular was actually able to detect me. After chasing me for so long, it wants to exhaust my stamina. When Chen Xiang thought about it again, he still had a lingering fear. Now he finally understood why the people from Fire Path and Sword Truth were so afraid of Dragonwolf. They also made a wise decision to not pass through this forest, otherwise their entire group would have been killed by this kind of savage beast. If Chen Xiang did not have the counterpower, he would not dare approach. As he rested, he thought back to the map he had seen earlier. According to this speed, I can probably reach Myriad Tao Mausoleum in a year. I wonder where they got this map from, and whether they can really go to that Myriad Tao Mausoleum or not. Chen Xiang also did not ask Tai Shangzhen, but he was certain that there were several maps on this map. Otherwise, it would be impossible for the Heavenly Tao, the Tao of Fire, and the Tao of the Sword to share this map with each other. Thinking about it, Chen Xiang suddenly felt that someone had intentionally sent them a map. Could there be a trick to this? Chen Xiang told the sword spirit his thoughts. I'm not sure about that, but I know that there really are some things hidden within this region. This is what the sword Taofather told me. The sword spirit said, just go to the location marked on the map. If there was really someone who gave them a map, they would definitely want to go to this level as well. However, the 3 great paths still chose to go to this place, so the upper echelons of the 3 great paths must know some things. Chen Xiang nodded, then entered the Yu Yao mountain villa to search for something inside a dragon wolf's body, but he couldn't find it. To think that these things do not have beast cores. Chen Xiang was very surprised. How come such a strong beast doesn't have an orb? Could it be that the flesh of these savage beasts are extremely powerful? Chen Xiang cut a piece of wolf meat and roasted it with flames. He roasted it for less than an hour, but the meat still looked raw, and he immediately strengthened the flame. 2 hours had passed, and Chen Xiang had finally cooked this piece of meat. I can even concoct a batch of pills by roasting this piece of meat. After Chen Xiang took a bite of the wolf meat, he could not help but exclaim in admiration. It's very delicious. I thought the wolf meat was very hard and old, but I didn't expect it to be so tender after being roasted. Chen Xiang immediately took big bites. He regretted not roasting that much just now. After eating the wolf meat, his entire body felt warm, and a wave of heat flowed through his body, as if some kind of energy was drilling into his flesh. This savage beast meat really does contain a powerful energy. After eating it, I feel much more energetic. There are still signs of my body strengthening. Chen Xiang cut off a few pieces of the larger meat to roast. At this time, the sword spirit also ran out. You can eat too. Chen Xiang laughed, lured out by the sword spirit from Chen Xiang's words just now. I am also a human now, alright? I have already become a human, so I'm no different from a human now. The sword spirit took a piece of meat and placed it on top of Chen Xiang's chuangs. Hi+G-O-D furnace roasting it. After the roasting was done, they all began to gobble down the meat, praising the deliciousness of the meat. Could it be that even a savage beast with primordial Tao of dragon energy is so delicious? Chen Xiang actually felt full right now. It had been a long time since he had felt this way because of eating food. It's possible. You can hunt more of them. The sword spirit laughed and then entered the heavenly magic sword. Chen Xiang didn't dare do it now. He had almost been killed by the dragon ape earlier. If he met someone stronger than the dragon ape, he would be in trouble. If he could fly or use the power of S.P.A.C. to teleport, he would not be afraid. After eating the dragon wolf meat, Chen Xiang's stamina had more or less recovered, and he walked according to the map. He couldn't fly, and couldn't use the power of S.P.A.C. either. Chen Xiang could only run around, and when he was tired, he would rest. After he rested, he would continue to run. Although it was boring, Chen Xiang could still endure it. Unknowingly, he had been running madly within this forest for almost half a year. Of the dragon wolf that he had hunted previously, only one was left. This forest is truly huge. There are even more powerful savage beasts here. And when I come back, I'm going to walk again. Chen Xiang had already walked out of the forest, and when he looked back from the desert, he sighed. In the past half-year, he had encountered many savage beasts, and they were the kind that absorbed the eternal dragon Tao energy. However, he didn't dare to provoke them. Those savage beasts were either numerous or extremely vigilant. When they sensed the slightest movement, they would either attack him immediately or flee without a trace. Some even spotted him in the distance, then immediately rushed over at extreme speed. We still have a long way to go. Chen Xiang walked for a little more than half a day, until he could no longer see the forest behind him. The scorching sun was extremely hot. As he walked, it was as if he was in a furnace. Even though he was extremely strong in terms of cultivation and flames, he was drenched in sweat from head to toe. No way, what the hell is this place? Chen Xiang sat on top of the hot sand, and felt a scorching heat coming from below, as if it was a red-hot piece of iron. As expected of one of the dangerous areas in the divine wasteland, it's scary indeed. I've never been here before, but you can run so far by yourself, you can be considered very outstanding. The sword spirit came out from the heavenly magic sword and looked around, exclaiming. Chen Xiang rested for a bit, then continued to rush forward. In the desert, the consumption was 10 times more than in the forest. 2 hours later, he suddenly stopped because he saw something in front of him. That is, the city walls. The city walls are very tall. Chen Xiang stared ahead and could not help but shout in alarm. Could it be Myriad Tao Mausoleum? This book came from 17K, so the first thing he did was to look at the original content. C2687. C2687 Chen Xiang was not sure if that was the Myriad Tao Mausoleum, because it was not the place where the map indicated the endpoint. There was still a long way to go until the endpoint. However, he still immediately flew over. As he got closer, he was sure that it was the city wall. He also saw the huge city gate. The city wall was over 100 zhang tall and was made out of the color of earth. It looked like it was made out of sand, and the huge black city gate was tightly shut. I wonder if there's anyone inside. Chen Xiang was not far from the city now. In order to quickly investigate the situation, he increased his speed. Not long after, he arrived at the entrance of the city. There was actually a small door here, and at the entrance stood 2 mighty guards in golden armor. Chen Xiang walked over and greeted them, but they stood there motionlessly, not even blinking or rolling their eyes, as though they were statues that did not move an inch. The door was very small, it was only enough for one person to pass through. Chen Xiang shouted a few times, but the 2 golden-armored guards did not react as he walked in. He had thought that he would have to give something to the city gate, but he did not think that he would have to give anything else to the city gate. There is actually a city here. After Chen Xiang walked in, he saw a wide street filled with shops on both sides. It was just like the cities that Chen Xiang often saw, where many people were shouting and doing business. Many people were bargaining, and groups of people were shopping around as they chatted. It looked to be a city of ordinary people, but Chen Xiang knew that the people inside were not ordinary. The moment he entered, he felt a strong aura pouncing on him. He saw that the people walking on the streets were all around 10th place of Dao Ji, O.D. realm, and all of them were extremely powerful. What kind of city is this? Chen Xiang walked into the crowd and arrived in front of a stall. He asked a relatively idle and seemingly very good-natured old man about the matters inside. "Old grandpa, what kind of city is this?" "This is my first time coming to this city," Chen Xiang said. There were guards wearing gold armor at the entrance of the city, but other people were allowed to enter and exit, meaning that the city was not exclusive to outsiders. "This is the Myriad Tao City. Lad, did you come here alone?" The old man laughed. "Yes, old grandpa, you are very free anyways. Can you tell me about what happened here?" Chen Xiang walked to the side of the old man and sat down. "Of course you can. I've met many people like you." The elder was selling a small statue which had the shapes of savage beasts carved on it. Zhang Xian didn't know what its uses were. The Myriad Tao City is very close to the Myriad Tao Mausoleum. In these many years, many people came here for the Myriad Tao Mausoleum, but were unable to enter the Myriad Tao Mausoleum. After a long time, this city was established, and all the experts of different paths were present. So it can be said that the strong are as common as the clouds here. The old man said. "Really?" Chen Xiang was surprised. He had heard that when the experts of the Great Way of the Buddha reached a certain level of strength, they would be summoned to the Myriad Tao Mausoleum. If they were unable to enter the Myriad Tao Mausoleum, then it was very possible that they were all in this place. Of course it's true. It's just that these experts usually don't come out very often. Unless something big happens or the mausoleum has some movement, they will only appear. The old man said again. "That's right, Grandpa. Did a group of people come earlier?" Chen Xiang wanted to see if the people from Fire Dao and Sword Dao had entered. There are 2 batches. The first batch of people who came here heard that it's called the Heavenly Dao, and the second batch is called the Sword Dao or the Fire Dao. He was already old enough to still call others old fellows. From this, it could be seen how old those old fellows were. Chen Xiang was full of doubts in his heart. He felt that his speed was already fast, and it was not even taking shortcuts, but it was actually faster than Fire and Sword Path. This was because both the Fire Path and Sword Truth would encounter savage beasts along the way. Thus, their group would definitely be much slower in terms of speed. What method did those guys use to get here before me? Chen Xiang didn't understand. When did they come? Chen Xiang asked again. Yesterday, the Heavenly Dao just entered at noon. In the afternoon, it will be Fire Dao and Sword Dao. It actually came on the same day, which surprised Chen Xiang, because the Heavenly Dao had appeared very early. He felt that the time the heavenly Tao had come should be relatively normal. As for the path of fire and the path of the sword, they were clearly much faster, so those who were able to walk the path of fire arrived together. Old Grandpa, how do we survive here? Chen Xiang felt that he would definitely stay here for a period of time, and also asked him how he could muddle through it. But what is used here is not the low-grade Tao stones like yours, it is the Tao crystals that are needed. The old man laughed. So it's like that. Chen Xiang was glad that he did not earn too many spirit stones previously, otherwise, he would be useless here. He felt that those sect heavyweights would definitely be very depressed because they all had a lot of Tao stones in their hands, but they were currently unable to use them. Are the Tao stones useless here? Chen Xiang asked again. He had some Tao stones on hand. He wanted to see if there were any myriad Tao divine steel so he could exchange it for some power of law to cultivate. It's completely useless. The myriad Tao divine steel here does not recognize any Tao stones. The old man said. There's also the myriad Tao's divine steel. Who's controlling it? Chen Xiang wanted to ask before. Who controlled the myriad Tao divine steel? I can't say for sure, but it's just being controlled by someone. As the old man spoke, he picked up the small statues of the barbarian beast and said, There is a little power of law in these small toys. They are all extracted from the bodies of the original dragon beast. Chen Xiang understood a little about the primordial Tao of dragon energy. He had only eaten a few pieces of the dragon wolf's meat before. He never thought that he would be able to extract the primordial Tao of dragon energy from it. I thought you were selling some small stuff, old grandpa. I didn't expect you to be so amazing. Then old grandpa, you must also be an animal hunter. Chen Xiang asked. I used to be one, but I'm old now. That's why I only take back the animal bones that others don't want, and sell them bit by bit. It can maintain my life. The old man said. Chen Xiang was glad he did not eat the last dragon wolf, because that would sell him for a Tao crystal. Old grandpa, I encountered a kind of dragon wolf before. If I were to kill a dragon wolf, I can probably sell it for a lot. Chen Xiang asked again. The dragon wolf. They are relatively weaker dragon beast, which can be sold for around 5,000 Tao crystal. The old man said. After that, Chen Xiang chatted with the old man for a while. The old man told Chen Xiang where the heavenly Tao, sword Tao, fire Tao and other people went, and they actually went to the vicinity of the myriad Tao's divine steel. Chen Xiang immediately rushed over. At the same time, he asked along the way where he could sell dragon beastess, and he found it near the myriad Tao's divine steel. C2688. C2688. When Chen Xiang arrived at the myriad Tao divine steel, he originally thought that it was very big. He didn't expect it to be even taller than he was and placed it in the middle of a plaza. However, the myriad Tao divine steel emitted 7 rays of white light. These 7 rays of light connected the 7 huge courtyards around the plaza. Those houses were powers that could extract the power of law from the myriad Tao divine steel, and were also powers that controlled the myriad Tao divine steel. Chen Xiang arrived outside one of the houses. There was a very big hall there. The invisible devil is here. The invisible devil is here. The heavenly spirit crow shouted. There were roughly 200 people in the hall. Chen Xiang glanced over and immediately saw that the people from the fire Tao sword Tao had unfamiliar faces. It was obvious that they were from the heavenly Tao, which made them emit a very strong sense of hostility. Little brother Shen, you actually came here by yourself. Tai Shangzhen anxiously walked over and laughed in surprise. Of course, my luck has always been very good. Chen Xiang laughed. The fire-way middle-aged man brought his heavenly spirit crow and walked over. The big shots of the other sects also came over, because they were against Chen Xiang coming over. They told him to return, but Chen Xiang still came in the end. Therefore, they thought that Chen Xiang must be right behind them. I'm not following you guys. If you don't believe me, ask this crow. Chen Xiang laughed. I'm not a crow, I'm a heavenly spirit crow. The heavenly spirit crow shouted. Chen Xiang stuck out his tongue at the heavenly spirit crow. It's all because of you, you B-A-S-T-A-R-D, otherwise I would have been able to come here easily. The fire path middle-aged man snorted and said, Are you really not following behind us? Tai Shangzhen's face darkened and said, In that kind of situation, is it possible for him to follow behind us, as well as your heavenly spirit crow? You should know why we came here so quickly. The heavyweights of the sects of the Tao of Fire and the Tao of the Sword said nothing. That's right, Senior Tai. How could you guys be so fast? I should be faster than you guys if I was to traverse the forest. Chen Xiang was very curious about this. Halfway there, we found a primitive mythical array. After activating it, we were transported to the desert, and then we found this city. Tai Shangzhen said. Everyone didn't think it was strange that Chen Xiang was able to traverse the forest. It was because they had all seen Chen Xiang's power that could only be seen by Heavenly Spirit Crow. Chen Xiang, what are you doing here? Are you hunting dragon beast in exchange for Tao Crystal? Tai Shangzhen said. We don't have any Tao Crystals, so it's inconvenient to be here. Furthermore, the power of law here is purer, and there are also those rare powers of law. For example, the power of flight is more expensive. Tai Shangzhen said. You guys wait here for me to hunt those dragon beasts. Chen Xiang looked at the people inside. He remembered that there were more than 1,000 of them, but there were not enough for 200, adding the people from the heavenly Tao. We are waiting for the dragon beast's information. Tai Shangzhen nodded. He saw that Chen Xiang was looking at the number of people, and sighed. Although we went around Dragon Wolf S, we also encountered many beasts on the way, causing heavy casualties. It's a good thing you didn't take the road in the forest, or else none of you are left. Chen Xiang's words had moved everyone. It could be seen what Chen Xiang had encountered inside. I met many dragon beasts inside. The white-robed elder from the Tao of Alchemy walked over. Yes. One of them should be called the dragon ape, very powerful and nimble. I almost got killed because of that. There are countless dragon beasts in there, all in groups, and there are hundreds or thousands of them. Chen Xiang laughed bitterly. Hearing Chen Xiang's words, everyone shuddered. Even a normal group of barbaric beasts would be exhausted, but if it were Dragon Beast S, they would die even more miserably. Kid, you're still alive even after encountering the dragon ape. Your luck is pretty good. An old man suddenly walked over and said with a smile, The dragon ape is indeed scary, because it's quite close to humans. How many Tao Crystals are the dragon apes worth? Chen Xiang laughed. 200,000. The old man said. So little. Chen Xiang curled his lips. Such a powerful fellow, only worth that much. Kid, did you just arrive at the Myriad Tao City? Here, a 10th stage Tai Tao Realm expert has a monthly income of 5,000 Tao Crystal. If you can hunt a dragon ape every year, then you can live a carefree life. What about the dragon wolf? You guys take it? Chen Xiang asked. The old man was the manager here. He was also in charge of purchasing the dragon beast's corpse. This, usually around 4,000 or 5,000, depends on the completeness of the body. The old man said. Chen Xiang immediately took out a dragon wolf's corpse and placed it on the ground. This must be a dragon wolf. How much is it worth? Chen Xiang said. Chen Xiang was actually able to kill a dragon wolf. They were very clear on the strength of this thing, and Chen Xiang was only at the first level of the divine Tao realm with only one Tao vein. He actually had the strength to kill Dragon Wolf. The corpse is still considered complete, and something pierced through the head from the eye, causing the Dragon Wolf to die. It can be sold for 4,000 Tao Crystal. The old man said. He was also surprised. If it's so complete, why can't it be 5,000? Chen Xiang said. You don't understand, the eyes of Dragon Beast are more valuable, but you have destroyed one eye, so the price is a little lower. Of course, the integrity of your Dragon Wolf is also a little rare, The things that we met together were all beaten up, and we could only sell for 2,000 to 3,000. The old man said, "Since this is the first time you've come here to sell, I'll give you 4,500. Sure deal," Chen Xiang said. Very quickly, Chen Xiang acquired 4,500 Dao crystal. Dao crystal and Dao stones were the same, they were both the size of grains of rice, only they were SHI plus New York, and much better than Dao stones. The high-ranked members of the sects that followed the path of fire and the way of the sword were all extremely envious at this moment. Chen Xiang was actually the first to obtain a Dao crystal. Elder Tai, when I came here earlier, I saw a hotel. I heard that there was dragon beast meat for sale inside. The dragon beast's meat is praiseworthy. I have already eaten it before. Chen Xiang laughed. Chen Xiang had actually even eaten dragon beast flesh before, which showed that he did not only have one. Little brother Shen, how did you hunt the dragon wolf? Tai Shangzhen asked. If I hide and attack in the dark, I'll be able to get away easily. Chen Xiang said, later on, I tried attacking things like the dragon and lion dragon apes, but they were all unsuccessful. I even almost lost my life. It's good that you're still alive. The elder took a deep breath. Truly a brat who isn't afraid of death. With your little cultivation, you actually dare to sneak attack something like the dragon ape or dragon lion. Of course, it's already very rare for you to be able to hunt dragon wolf. This book came from 17K, so the first thing he did was to look at the original content. C2689. C2689, Senior Tai, let's go. Chen Xiang wanted to drag Tai Shangzhen to have a drink, but Tai Shangzhen rejected it. He shook his head. He wanted to keep it. Chen Xiang guessed that there were people from their 3 main roads in this city. They would definitely come to pick them up after a while. After all, their strength was considered quite good here. Chen Xiang already had a Dao crystal, and there was also the myriad Tao divine steel. He walked to the counter and asked, "Manager, how much is the power of law here?" Different law energies have different prices. The rarer law energies are, the more expensive they are. The manager said, "So it's like that. Then how much are the flight laws and the SPAC laws sold for?" Chen Xiang asked again. "This is too expensive. The flight and spatial laws are both part of the rare power of law. Only with 100 million Dao crystal can one buy a law beads." The shopkeeper had just bought one of Chen Xiang's dragon wolf, but there were only a few thousand. So expensive. Chen Xiang's face was full of shock. After selling the dragon wolf, he had a new understanding of it. Actually, we don't earn much either. I also need to consume a large amount of Dao Crystal S to extract the power of law from the myriad Tao's divine steel, which would require me to use up more than 9,500 myriad Tao crystals. Furthermore, it will take a relatively long time, and we can even help to refine the purest power of law. The shopkeeper took out a law beads and said, "This is a fire rule beads, it's relatively cheaper. 1 myriad Tao crystal for 1. Chen Xiang now understood that there were very few Dao crystal in his possession. It was only enough for him to eat something here or stay in a hotel. Then how effective can this law beads be? Chen Xiang thought for a while, then asked. Law beads formed by the myriad Tao divine steel are usually used to cultivate rule Dao line. After obtaining the rule Dao line, the Tao power produced by the Dao God soul can be converted into the power of law through the rule Dao line. Chen Xiang nodded his head. Although he could use the power of SPAC, the laws of SPAC he grasped were not suitable for use here, so he could not use the power of SPAC. If you want to cultivate a rule Dao line, it usually requires 1,000 of them. The manager said. 100 pills. Chen Xiang took a deep breath. This required a lot of Dao crystal, especially rare principle. Cultivating rule Dao line, the most important thing was to cultivate well on the basic Dao channels, and now that Chen Xiang's basic Dao channels had been cultivated well, He needed law beads to cultivate on the second Tao vein, and the second rule Tao line needed to have a good foundation, otherwise he would not be able to condense third. In other words, he would be stuck at the Tao G, O, D stage for a long period of time. Actually, if one only uses normal law beads, it would still be very easy to cultivate. A majority of people start with the most normal law beads to refine and train their rule Tao line. This is all to quickly raise their cultivation to the Tai Tao realm, because the Tai Tao realm can gain even stronger strength. The shopkeeper said, "In any case, we can change to cultivate other rule Tao line." Chen Xiang nodded. If he wanted to train spatial rule Tao line right now, he would need a lot of them. If he wanted to reach the Tai Tao realm quickly, he would definitely not do so. After all, if he cultivated the spirit of the Tao G, O, DS, he would be even stronger. What's the cheapest law beads? Chen Xiang asked. Water law beads, 3,001 pellet. The manager said. Never thought that the difference between the two would be so huge. The cheapest law beads only had 3,000 and the most expensive one was only able to reach 100 million. Of course, I recommend that you get all the fire or thunder you can. This way you can be more aggressive and stronger. Only then can you quickly earn Tao Crystal S, the manager said. Fire rule beads S were also worth 10,000, and 100 of them was equivalent to 100 myriad Tao crystals. Of course, this was also the way many people did things. Tai Shangzhen walked over and said, Chen Xiang, it's more worthwhile for you to cultivate your rule Tao line here. If you were to use Tao stones in other places, it would take even longer. The shopkeeper said, Of course, if it's those low-rank myriad Tao divine steel, the law beads would need thousands upon thousands of beads to cultivate it. Even worse, tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands. Tai Shangzhen also nodded his head. We only need 100 pills here. It will greatly shorten the time. All right, looks like I have to go and earn the Tao crystal. Chen Xiang said. After greeting Tai Shangzhen, he walked out. He was strolling outside to see if there was any pill shop here. If he could exchange his pills for Tao crystal, then he wouldn't have to take the risk to hunt them. Dragon Beast S were very strong. Even though he had many methods, he still had to take risks. Not to mention that he could not use spatial force right now. When he was chased by the dragon ape earlier, he had already felt the terror of Dragon Beast S. If not as a last resort, he did not want to face those strong Dragon Beast S. Chen Xiang only inquired about a little before he found out about the pill shop here. This made him very happy. However, when he arrived at the pill shop, he couldn't help but sigh. This pill shop was simply too deserted. Old Granny, why is this medicine store so deserted? Are the pills here hard to sell? Chen Xiang walked in and asked. The pill shop looked very simple and crude. The old granny sighed. Isn't it so? The people here mainly cultivate rule Tao line. Many of the Tao crystal that they earn are used to buy law beads, to cultivate their rare principle, and the use of medicinal pellets is also only used for healing. Don't you have any healing pills here? Chen Xiang asked. No, we only have some strange pills here. They don't have much use. I'm just here to make them out of boredom. If you need any pills, you can go to the southern part of the city near the city wall. There is a street there, mainly for selling pills. The old granny laughed. Child, you have just arrived at Myriad Tao City, right? Chen Xiang nodded. He did not know about this. Just as he was about to leave the shop, a woman in a red dress suddenly walked in. Her body exuded a faint fragrance, and a sweet smile hung on her face, revealing 2 enchanting dimples. Seeing Chen Xiang looking at her, the woman's jade-like face blushed, then she lowered her head and spat. She was often looked at like that, so she was already used to it. But for some reason, when she was looked at by Chen Xiang, she couldn't help but blush. Grandma, I'm back. The woman hurriedly walked to the counter and shouted. How did you do? It seems that he has definitely PAS, said the examination. The old granny smiled benevolently. She could also see the peculiarity in her granddaughter. I did pass. But my sister doesn't think it's right for me to go to her for help yet. Seeing that Chen Xiang had not left, she asked, "Who is this? This lady, what test are you talking about? Alchemist A.'s assessment?" Chen Xiang smiled and asked, "No. It's just that it's very difficult to cultivate flowers and plants, and I can't learn alchemy. But elder sister learned very well, she's a rather famous alchemist in the city right now." The woman spoke of her elder sister with a face full of pride. C2690. C2690 Child, you seem to be very interested in refining pills? Are you also an alchemist? The old granny asked with a smile. Yes, my cultivation is very low. Killing dragon beast to earn more Dao crystal is also dangerous. I just happen to know how to refine pills, so I came here to see if I can find a job to refine pills. Chen Xiang said. The red-dressed lady immediately looked at Chen Xiang with adoration. You're really amazing, you look very young, and you can even learn alchemy. I just know a little. Chen Xiang said humbly. Sijing, why don't you take him to your sister's shop and ask if you can help him find a job? The old granny said. N. The girl called Sijing immediately nodded her head in agreement, then walked over to Chen Xiang's side. My name is Chen Xiang, H.E.L. Lo Sijing. Chen Xiang laughed. Sijing flushed red and said in a low voice, Amen. Chen Xiang followed her out of the shop and headed towards the southern city wall. Along the way, they chatted a lot, and Chen Xiang got to know her better. She was called Jiang Sijing, and her elder sister was called Jiang Sime. What made Chen Xiang surprised was that they were actually twins. Her elder sister looked exactly the same as her, but her personality was a little different. I'm so stupid. My sister can learn alchemy, but I can't. I only know how to grow plants. Jiang Sijing said in a low voice, feeling somewhat inferior to her. That's nothing. Many experts don't know how to refine pills, and everyone has their own strength. If you know how to plant plants, then it means that you're very good at cultivating medicinal plants. This is also quite good. Chen Xiang laughed. Chen Xiang, you said that you are only at the first level of the Dao Ji O.D. realm, but you can refine pills. Truly amazing. My sister started refining pills when she was only at the Dao Ji O.D. stage, and only learned when she was at the third level of the Dao Ji O.D. stage. Now that she has the 10th place of Dao Ji O.D. realm, she has quite a bit of reputation. Jiang Sijing said. Then are you also a 10th place of Dao Ji O.D. realm? Chen Xiang asked. He did not expect these girls to be so powerful. Of course I'm also at the 10th level. If my cultivation is Serpa S, said by my elder sister, I will die from laughter. Jiang Sijing stuck his tongue out at Chen Xiang and laughed. Very quickly, Chen Xiang and her arrived at a street near the city wall. There were indeed pill stores here, and the compet. Tian was fierce. He and Jiang Sijing arrived at a small shop with 3 floors. As soon as they arrived at the entrance, they heard the woman yell, Those who don't buy medicinal pellets, F***ck off, don't take all the C.R.A.P. If you don't F***k off, this old lady will cut all of your eggs. Hearing that, Chen Xiang's legs could not help but S.H.I. plus ver, because the woman's voice was also extremely cold. A large group of people rushed out. Chen Xiang, you don't have to be afraid. That's my sister, she won't do anything to you. Jiang Sijing laughed softly. Is she really your sister? Or twins? Chen Xiang was startled. Jiang Sijing's personality was already good. She was gentle like water, like a lady from An. Oh, Blee family, and the one inside. All right. Chen Xiang nodded. After he followed Jiang Sijing in, he saw a lady dressed in gray standing behind the counter. Her hair was messy with a big braid hanging on her chest, and her arms were crossed in front of her chest, her face cold. Her face was exactly the same as Jiang Sijing's, but her demeanor and attire were completely different. Chen Xiang had wanted to ask Jiang Sijing how he could differentiate between the two of them before, but there was no need to ask now. Sijing, what are you doing back here? Didn't you say to go to Grandma's? When Jiang Sime saw her sister, her expression softened, but when she saw Chen Xiang standing beside Jiang Sijing, her beautiful jade face immediately sunk, and was covered in frost. Elder sister, what happened just now? Why are you so angry? Jiang Sijing hurriedly walked over, held her sister's arm, and stroked her sister's messy hair. I'm so pissed set off. A bunch of BASTARDS only know how to brag all day and not buy any pills, yet there's still King making a bet here, causing this place to be extremely smelly. Jiang Sime walked out of the counter and stood in front of Chen Xiang. Sijing, how did you end up with that stinking man? Didn't Big Sister tell you before that this kind of man doesn't have any good things, especially this kind of face? Jiang Sime reprimanded. Grandma told me to bring him to find you. He said that he's from Alchemist and wants to find a job here to earn Dao Crystales. Jiang Sijing stood at the side. Towards Chen Xiang's actions of calm down, she was worried that Chen Xiang would be angry because of her sister's rude remarks. Chen Xiang was not angry. He had seen this kind of woman before. She was as violent as he was in the past. He knows how to refine pills? What cultivation level? No matter how I look at it, he is just a rule Dao line, so he shouldn't be at the first level of the Dao G.O.D stage, right? Jiang Sime walked around Chen Xiang and said. After all, it was her grandmother who had called him over, so she didn't dare to kick Chen Xiang out immediately. Can someone at the first level of the Dao G.O.D stage concoct pills? Chen Xiang said. Did I say no? If you really know how to, then in my eyes, you are much more useful than those smelly men from the 10th place of Dao G.O.D realm. Jiang Sime said. I can refine pills, but at the moment, I only have control over the forging of low-grade pills. For example, Jinyuan Dao Dan. Chen Xiang said, do you have a Jinyuan Dao Dan here? Of course there is. Give me a cauldron. As long as it can be refined, you will be mine. Jiang Sime patted Chen Xiang's shoulder and smiled domineeringly. Chen Xiang was a little speechless. This kind of woman was so much more brutal than Ling Yulan. Chen Xiang took out the chuangs. HI plus GOD furnace S and the Jinyuan Dao Dan S medicinal ingredients. Follow me in and train in the secret room. Jiang Sime said. Don't worry, I won't send you up. Chen Xiang thought if he was set on by such a woman, he would not lose too. Jiang Sijing followed her into a private room. She wanted to see if Chen Xiang could concoct pills. Although she and Chen Xiang had just met, she had a strange good impression of Chen Xiang. The most important thing was that Chen Xiang was good-looking, knew how to concoct pills, and he was easy to talk to. Chen Xiang sat on the ground and looked at the twins, who looked exactly the same but had very different personalities. Jiang Sime, Jiang Sijing, the beautiful scenery is exactly what this pair of twins wanted to name themselves. Chen Xiang thought in his heart. He was already very familiar with refining Jinyuan Dao Dan and could finish it in a very short period of time. With his current speed, he could finish it in 2 hours. Lovely! The moment Chen Xiang said these 2 words, Jiang Sime immediately shouted out, just call me boss, don't call me that soft-hearted B.A.S.T.A.R.D. who sounds so unbefitting of a name. Boss, how's the business here? Chen Xiang suddenly wanted to laugh. Now he understood why Jiang Sime's character was like that. It was very possible that it was because of his name. C2691. C2691, what a fart! Jiang Sime said very straightforwardly. It's mainly because I don't have enough manpower, only having pills every few days, and I'm busy myself. Over time, even the regular customers will choose other shops. No wonder Jiang Sime asked Chen Xiang to stay, she was in need of people. You couldn't hire alchemist before? Chen Xiang asked again. Humph, the majority of people who can concoct pills are just some old guys. Are they willing to let a little girl like me order them around? If that old fellow did not keep his ancestor waiting, then he would have disappeared the next day. This kind of old man would not serve his ancestors. Jiang Sime said. She saw that Chen Xiang did not speak, and said, Do you think it's because I have such a temper that I couldn't recruit alchemist? Right. I didn't say that. Chen Xiang immediately denied it. But you must have thought so. Jiang Sime replied. I won't beat you up even if I admit it. I'm clear about my temper, it's normal that you think so. But I want to tell you, I've never treated anyone who comes to work here unfairly. It's just that I don't want to raise a lord, and quite a few old people have come to work for me just to be a lord. That's understandable. Boss, you know how to refine pills at a young age, but when some old alchemists who have a similar level of alchemy came here, they put on airs and used their old age to show off, wanting to take advantage of us, right? Chen Xiang said. He could guess this kind of thing. Well said, as expected of youngsters. Their thoughts are the same. Jiang Sime nodded to Chen Xiang, agreeing with his words. If those old alchemists' alchemy skills are better than mine, I would be happy to treat them as my lords, because they can earn me a lot of Dao crystal, so what if they can? But unfortunately, they don't have the ability, and they still want to claim the throne in my hands. Jiang Sijing was worried that Chen Xiang would be angered to the point that he wanted to leave, but she didn't think that Chen Xiang would actually have so much to say to her sister that they could talk so much. Jiang Sime said, You should focus on refining the pill, if you cannot, no matter how nice your words sound. Chen Xiang laughed. I am very familiar with Jinyuan Dao Dan, that is no problem. After all, you are my boss now, and I am familiar with you now. Elder sister, how many S are there that are as young as Chen Xiang? Jiang Sijing suddenly asked. Over a dozen of them, but those are real grandfathers. They're all B.A.S.T.A.R.D.S. with oily heads and powdery faces like a woman. Not a single one of them is as pleasing to the eye as this brat. Jiang Sime also found Chen Xiang to be more pleasing to the eye. Are their pill refining skills really that great? That status must be very high too. Even at such a young age, it's still hard to come by. Chen Xiang said. Humph, wasn't it their father who was awesome? Otherwise, they will just be a piece of SCU. Jiang Sime was very unconvinced. Oh right, how many Dao crystal can each be sold for? Not much, 25 Dao crystal, 1 pellet. Jiang Sime said. I can refine 2 pellets per furnace and sell them for 50 Dao crystal, and the cost of the ingredients is 20 Dao crystal S, so I can earn 30 Dao crystal S per furnace. If you can only refine 1 pill, then you'll earn even less. So it's like that. Is the best seller here a Jinyuan Dao Dan? Chen Xiang had many of the Jinyuan Dao Dan's medicinal ingredient. It's quite easy to sell. I sell it for 20 pills per day, 10 batches per day. Jiang Sime said. It's barely enough to maintain the rent of my shop. Of course, I will occasionally refine some high-level pellet. If I can sell it for a few hundred Dao crystal, then I will earn a lot of money. Although Jinyuan Dao Dan S were cheap, Chen Xiang felt that he would still earn a lot. Now that my sister is here to help me, I'll feel more relaxed in the future. Jiang Sime said. Sister, it's all my fault. I'm useless and can't refine pills together with you. Jiang Sijing felt very ashamed. Silly girl, your naturally born Earth Rule Dao line was able to quickly grow medicinal herbs. This is already helping me greatly. There's no need to be ashamed. You are stronger than many stinking men. Jiang Sime patted his little sister's head and smiled at her. He could tell that she loved her little sister a lot. Chen Xiang never thought that Jiang Xijing would actually have such power. In next to no time, 2 hours had passed. I've finished refining it. Chen Xiang stopped and let out a light breath. This was only an ordinary refinement, and to him, it was extremely easy, and didn't consume anything at all. It's only been 2 hours, not a bad speed. When Jiang Ximei opened Chen Xiang's pill furnace and saw that there were 4 Jinyuan Dao Dan inside, she was stunned into silence. Her heart was filled with shock, and her beautiful yet cold face was filled with disbelief. Boss, my level is still pretty good, right? Chen Xiang laughed. Very good. Jiang Ximei took a light breath, and couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. Jiang Xijing also saw it, and she was so shocked that her mouth was wide open, unable to say a word. To be able to refine a strength Jinyuan Dao Dan, she must be stronger than her sister. Do you really only know how to refine such a pill? Jiang Ximei said. There's another type of pill, but I don't know what it's called. After consuming it, my Dao Meridian will be strengthened. Chen Xiang said it was a pill concocted using that kind of hot little fruit. This kind of pill is not bad, but we'll sell the Jinyuan Dao Dan first and SN. H the business back. Wait here, I'll go and get the ingredients for you. Jiang Ximei then left in a hurry. He had some things to discuss with her initially. Xijing, your sister is a good person. Chen Xiang laughed. She only sees you as strong, otherwise she would not give face to others. However, you are truly very powerful. Even Big Sis appreciates you a lot. Jiang Xijing laughed. A little present for you. Chen Xiang said the 4 Jinyuan Dao Dan to Jiang Xijing. Thank you, Master Shen. Jiang Xijing saluted Chen Xiang and then started to laugh. Xijing, how's your power of the earth laws? Chen Xiang asked. Can make the plants grow faster. Chen Xiang was no stranger to this power. The most powerful one he had ever seen was the island his father was on, where the island spirit resided. Among the heavenly God medicines, the high middle rank is easier to mature, while the king grade, heaven rank and saint rank are much harder. Let alone the rarity itself, it still requires a few 100,000 years to mature, but people use all sorts of methods to shorten the time, to a few thousand years at the fastest, and I use the power of the earth laws to shorten it to a few years. So powerful! Chen Xiang exclaimed. He possessed the creation God's spring, who knew how many years it could be shortened to. Can the power of the earth laws be obtained from the myriad Tao's divine steel? Sure, but it's very rare. It requires 200 million Dao crystal to condense one. I already had it since birth. Jiang Xijing laughed. You want me to help you get the medicinal ingredients? I can quickly finish the high-grade Heaven's Path divine medicine for you. I have this kind of thing, I wonder how it compares with your power of the laws of the earth. Chen Xiang took out a bottle of World God's spring. Jiang Xijing took it, opened the bottle and sniffed, then said, This smell is very familiar, could it be that this is also the power of the laws of the earth? But it doesn't look like it. C2692. C2692 Jiang Xijing was extremely curious about Chen Xiang's World God's spring, so the feeling that she was familiar with and unfamiliar with was very strange. Can this drink? I want to try it. Jiang Xijing said. Of course you can. Chen Xiang drank it a lot and the taste was pretty good. Jiang Xijing immediately took a sip, and with furrowed brows, she refined the creation God's spring. She wanted to see if it was different from her own power of the laws of the earth. Not long after, she discovered that this kind of power could actually fuse with her Earth Rule Dao line and strengthen her Earth Rule Dao line. What exactly is this thing? It can strengthen my Earth Rule Dao line. Jiang Xijing was very surprised. This is similar to the power of laws, but there is a problem, because I can't directly absorb it to form a Rule Dao line, but it can be used to strengthen the power of laws in my Dao veins. Really? Chen Xiang did not expect it to turn out like this. He took out a quality and laughed. There are many of them. Take a look and see if you can use them to strengthen your Earth Rule Dao line. Thank you. Jiang Xijing initially thought that this type of spring was very precious. He never expected Chen Xiang to give her so much in one go. You're welcome. Chen Xiang also hoped that Jiang Xijing's powers of the ancient code of earth would strengthen as well. After Jiang Xijing received the spring water from Chen Xiang, he gulped down a lot of it and started cultivating inside the pill refining room. He didn't mind being alone with Chen Xiang at all. Chen Xiang also closed his eyes and separated a clone inside the Yu Yao mountain villa to control the clone to cultivate the medicinal herbs. He was prepared to refine a large amount of Jinyuan Dao Dan. I wonder if I can still focus on refining pills quickly. If we go with the Chuang's Hi plus God furnace, we should be able to produce 4 Jinyuan Dao Dan in one furnace. Chen Xiang took out the Chuang's Hi plus God furnace, opened its lid and placed the medicinal ingredients inside. After that, he widened his eyes and looked at the medicinal ingredients in the furnace. As he willed it, 2 streams of fiery light shot out from his eyes. It was a type of intense flame that was generated through the 10 levels of laws and mysterious gate. In just an instant, those medicinal herbs melted and then gathered together, forming a ball of medicine crystal. Finally, they were split into 4 and gradually formed into a pill. Still a little too slow. Chen Xiang scratched his head, looking at the Jinyuan Dao Dan that had just formed in the pill furnace. His mental cultivation method was to release flames through his eyes, and use his powerful spiritual sense and fire to help him concoct pills as he pleased. However, he was also thinking about how to refine the flames and spiritual sense to complement each other and refine the medicinal ingredients. In the past, he could condense a pill in an instant, but this Jinyuan Dao Dan was a natural law Dan. It was slightly more difficult than the pills he had encountered in the past. However, his current speed was extremely fast. The mental energy consumption is still great, but it doesn't matter. I just need to rest for a while. Chen Xiang only closed his eyes for a moment, before recovering his spirit. If I were to use the Dewan refining method, the refining speed would be even faster. Chen Xiang suddenly had an impulse. He looked at the pill refining room, and felt that it was too narrow, and Jiang Xijing was also here. Jiang Ximei came back with a lot of ingredients. They were all used to refine Jinyuan Dao Dan with over 100. Chen Xiang, let's talk about the benefits first. If you refine a batch of 4 Jinyuan Dao Dan, you will be able to sell them for 100, and if you deduct the cost of the ingredients, you will be able to earn 80 Dao Crystal. 80 Dao Crystal, you are 60, my sister and I are 20. Because this is my shop, and my sister and I are in charge of sales and management, otherwise, you would need a lot of time to sell your own Jinyuan Dao Dan, which is also very troublesome. Jiang Ximei said. Towards such a distribution, Chen Xiang was rather surprised. He never thought that Jiang Ximei would give him so much. He had run a shop together before, and the promotion segment was indeed quite troublesome. Forging a batch of pills could earn him 60% of the profit, which made him think that it was pretty good. Boss, did you buy these medicinal herbs? Chen Xiang asked. Yes, but now that the Jinyuan Dao Dan's ingredients are out of stock, so in the next period of time, the Jinyuan Dao Dan's price will probably rise, and when the time comes we can distribute the goods from the new market. In short, I won't cheat you because I'm not that kind of person. Jiang Ximei said very seriously. Boss, I have a lot of Jinyuan Dao Dan's herbs, you don't have to buy them from others. Chen Xiang said. How about this, I used my own ingredients to refine the Jinyuan Dao Dan, and earned the Dao Crystal. I will 7, you 3, how about it? All right. Jiang Ximei nodded in agreement. Chen Xiang could tell at a glance that a person like Jiang Ximei would definitely not wait patiently to concoct pills, especially for someone who concocted pills all year round. Ling Yulan and Long Shui were both people like that. If not as a last resort, they wouldn't bother to stay in the secret room all day. Now that Jiang Sime was refining pills at the back, she would definitely go to the front desk to sell them. Of course, just selling Jinyuan Dao Dan S is not enough. Jiang Sime said, "We are going to sell those pills with higher profits. It is a waste for you to use your time to refine cheaper Jinyuan Dao Dan. Right now, we are only at the initial stage. Once we earn enough Dao crystal to buy some precious herbs for our sister to plant, we will be able to earn more." Chen Xiang laughed. "I agree. I'll start concocting the pills now. I'll split the 100 sets according to what you said just now. I'll use my own ingredients for the next 30%. All right." Jiang Sime looked at his sister and asked, "What is sister doing?" "She's cultivating. I gave her a type of divine spring to drink. She said that she can strengthen her own power of the laws of the earth, and then she can cultivate here. It won't be a problem." Chen Xiang said, "Yes, you start concocting pills for 3 days, I will go and advertise it now. After 3 days I will sell the Jinyuan Dao Dan you refined." Jiang Sime walked out of the pill refining room. "In 3 days, I should be able to refine 100 batches. Chen Xiang looked at the herbs. He could refine 4 batches in 2 hours. Refining 9 hours a day and resting 6 hours would allow me to refine 36 batches of pills. 3 days would be enough. Chen Xiang made a plan for a while, then began refining. Right now, he was using the mental cultivation method. His speed was extremely fast, and he would definitely be able to complete it faster than he had planned. Jiang Sijing did not have much to do now, so she cultivated here, and was very serious about it. Even though it was very hot here, she did not say anything. Very quickly, 3 days had passed, and Chen Xiang had already refined 100 batches of Jinyuan Dao Dan, for a total of 400 pills. D.A.M. In it, I only got 1 myriad Tao crystal for 400 pills. Excluding 2,000 Dao crystal S, I only got 8,000, while I got 6,000. Chen Xiang felt that it wasn't worth it for him to earn this much after working so hard for 3 days. Hearing Chen Xiang's words, Jiang Sijing woke up from her cultivation and laughed. Chen Xiang, earning 6,000 Dao crystal in 3 days is already very easy. Those who go out to hunt dragon beast not only need to take risks, they also need to go with a small team. C2693. C2693 Jiang Sijing grew up here, and the speed at which she was earning Dao crystal was extremely fast, especially for a cultivator like Chen Xiang. You're really awesome. You managed to refine nearly 100 batches in 3 days. Although Jiang Sijing did not open her eyes when she was cultivating, she knew that Chen Xiang had used a unique pill refining technique. Flames shot out from her eyes as she refined the pill, and when she saw it, she was very surprised. When she saw Chen Xiang concocting 100 batches of pills in a row, she got used to it. "Come, let's go look for your sister." Chen Xiang brought the refined Jinyuan Dao Dan and Jiang Sijing outside. "How many have been refined?" Jiang Sime asked. At this time, she closed the shop's door, and now that the sky was about to brighten, she would open the door. "The medicinal herbs that you gave me are all completed." Chen Xiang laughed. Is this for real?" Jiang Sime was startled. He immediately took the jade box and opened it. Taking a look, he took a deep breath. "Awesome!" Jiang Sime could not help but exclaim in admiration, then nodded and smiled at Chen Xiang. "It's really too wasteful of you to only refine Jinyuan Dao Dan with this kind of ability. Sis, Chen Xiang is qualified to be a big boss again, right?" Jiang Sijing laughed. "Of course. Many of the old pompous fellows on this street aren't even fit to carry shoes for him." Jiang Sime said, then patted Chen Xiang's shoulder. "I'll sell it later, you go and rest first, that's my room." Chen Xiang yawned and laughed. I'm not too tired right now, I need to finish refining the herbs in my hands, I'm also lacking Dao crystal, I want to quickly cultivate and produce more Rule Dao line. That's right, your current cultivation level is still very low, you should hurry up and increase it. Jiang Sime nodded. Chen Xiang returned to the pill refining room and unceasingly refined Jinyuan Dao Dan. He refined 4,000 pills in a month and used his own ingredient. He did not need to buy any of them, as he could get a lot of Dao crystal. 12 myriad Tao crystals. You have 84,000 and the rest are for me and my sister. Although Jiang Sime did not get much, but she was happy. She could earn close to 20,000 every month. If they were to stay together, it would already be great if she had a few thousand. Chen Xiang couldn't help but admire Jiang Sime. In just a day's time, she had sold all 4,000 Jinyuan Dao Dan. Previously, the Jinyuan Dao Dan was 25, but it had now risen to 30. Only 80,000 can be exchanged for 8 fire rule beads. Chen Xiang sighed. I need 100 pills right now. Alright, 1 year is more or less enough. According to this, you will be able to cultivate up to the remaining Rule Dao line and step into the 10th place of Dao God realm in more than 10 years. Jiang Sijing said. Yeah, there are very few people here who can earn 8 myriad Tao crystals in a month. Of course, we have also gotten our attention now, because we have too many Jinyuan Dao Dan in our hands, but you don't have to worry. In Myriad Tao City, those fellows who are jealous of us will not do anything that goes too far. Jiang Sime crossed her arms across her chest, her face ice-cold. Boss, did something bad happen? Is it because of the Jinyuan Dao Dan? Seeing that, Chen Xiang asked. Don't worry, I will take care of this. Just don't worry about refining pills. Jiang Sime patted Chen Xiang's face. Chen Xiang was just worried Jiang Sime was just a 10th place of Dao Ji. Oh, D realm, there were a lot of Tai Dao realm here, after all, this was a place where strength reigned supreme. Boss, try this. I've told you before, after you eat it, you can quickly solidify your Dao meridian. Chen Xiang said. I call this one a Gumai Dan, it's a high-quality heavenly pellet, it's just the kind that's better than the high-quality ones. I'll try it. After Jiang Sime took the red pellet and swallowed it, his face slightly changed and was briming with joy. The effects are pretty good. My 10th Rule Dao line has always been in an unstable state, making it harder for me to enter the Tai Dao realm. This pill can help me solve this problem. Jiang Sime said, How much do you have left? I'd like to buy it from you. 500 Dao crystal pills. This is worth 500 Dao crystal? Chen Xiang was a little surprised, because he felt that refining this kind of Gumai Dan was similar to refining Jinyuan Dao Dan S. Of course, I definitely wouldn't be wrong. It's worth this price. Jiang Sime said. There's no need to be polite, I'll give it to you. Chen Xiang took out a dozen or so pills and handed them over, then said while grinning, Boss, if you step into the Tai Dao realm soon, I'll also be a bit more at ease. Bro, enough. Don't call me boss from now on, Call me beautiful. Jiang Sime smiled and replied. She liked to be straightforward. Right, stepping into the Tai Dao realm, I also need Jinyuan Dao Dan, right? Chen Xiang asked. Yes, my current Dao veins have been consolidated, but Jinyuan Dao Dan have always been insufficient, and I don't know how much I need to eat. After all, I need to condense spirit of the Dao Ji, ODS now. Jiang Sijing said. Seeing that their relations, HI plus P was getting better, she was happy. Then I'll help you refine a kind of Jinyuan Dao Dan that should be able to help you all condense spirit of the Dao Gods and step into the Tai Dao realm. Chen Xiang felt that Jinyuan Dao Dan that had been refined using crash method would have a better effect, and would be helpful in breaking through. In the following 10 days, he refined 20 of the 7 crash S, and they were all of the highest quality. She gave it to Jiang Sime and Jiang Sijing, letting them eat it. Previously, when Jiang Sime ate the Gomaidan, her rule Dao line had already been consolidated and could begin condensing spirit of the Dao Gods. The two sisters were in closed-doors cultivation in the same room, while Chun Xiang was in the pill cultivating room. I can start refining the Gomaidan diligently now. I can refine 2 pellets per furnace and refine 5 batches in 2 hours. Refining 80 pellets in a day for 16 hours would be equivalent to refining the 4 myriad Tao S crystals. Chun Xiang calculated, even if he would give a bit to the twins, he was still very satisfied with this benefit. He currently did not plan to cultivate rare principle, that was a matter of the 10 billion Dao crystal. It would be fine if he could come back later when he had enough strength. This myriad Tao city was still very big, and he was only at the edge. If he were to stay in the center of this bustling area, it would be very easy for him to earn a large amount of Dao crystal. Flying rule Dao line, spatial rule Dao line, I must get them. Chun Xiang felt that without these two, he could not even use those methods of his. It could be said that it would be difficult to take even a single step. 10 days pass, said, and Chun Xiang refined 800 Gomaidan. He gave them to Jiang Sime. Jiang Sime and Jiang Sijing also broke through to the Tai Dao realm, their strength increasing by a lot, especially Jiang Sijing, who was shockingly fast in maturing the medicinal ingredients, a lot faster than when Chun Xiang was using the World God's spring. C2694. C2694 Jiang Sime took Chun Xiang's Gomaidan and sold it everywhere, while Jiang Sijing was still here. Chun Xiang, selling those Gomaidan would definitely earn us another fortune, but I didn't help in any way, taking so many of your Dao crystal with me, I don't need them this time. Jiang Sijing said with a face full of guilt. Don't bother with me. Your sister already said that she's good buddies with me. You are her sister, so I also treat you as my sister. Chun Xiang laughed. My cultivation is higher than yours. I feel that I should be your elder sister. Jiang Sijing smiled sweetly, looking extremely beautiful. If I hadn't spent all my time studying alchemy techniques, my current cultivation would definitely be higher than yours, so I would be older than you. Chun Xiang pinched her face and laughed. What about my sister? She and I are twins born at the same time. If she treats you as her big brother, then I will be the same. Jiang Sijing mischievously stuck out his tongue. She asked me to call her Beautiful Beauty. She has already accepted me as her big brother. Chun Xiang said, to be honest, although his cultivation was low, but in terms of age, he was already an old man that had lived for 10,000 years. Jiang Sime and the two sisters grew up here. Because of the environment, their cultivation rose quickly, and they were much younger than Chun Xiang. Elder brother Shun, is it ready? Jiang Sijing chuckled. It's done. Chun Xiang caressed her face. Jiang Sijing promptly poured Chun Xiang a cup of tea and said, Elder brother Shin, have you lived all these years by yourself? I heard that there are many people in Alchemist who have lived their lives alone, especially someone like you, who has great alchemy skills. Chun Xiang took a sip of tea and laughed sinisterly. Even if you are not, my woman. Heh. Jiang Sijing was very surprised. She never thought that Chun Xiang was actually a romantic, but after thinking about it, she understood that for alchemists with such a high alchemy skills like Chun Xiang, it was normal for there to be many women around, and even a tyrannical woman like her would admire Chun Xiang so much, let alone others. They didn't follow you to the Myriad Tao City? Jiang Sijing asked. No, they're not in the Divine Wasteland. Chun Xiang sighed. It won't be easy for me to meet them in the future. So you are from the lower realms? Jiang Sijing said in shock. No wonder. Those who are able to come from the lower realms are all extremely outstanding. That's right. In my original world, I was an expert that ruled over a region. However, since I've come here, I'm just a useless person. Chen Xiang laughed bitterly. Where? Elder brother Shun, your pill techniques are so powerful. You are very popular everywhere you go. It might be because you don't want to rely on your own powers and want to travel alone, that's why you are acting like this. Otherwise, if you go to any random power, there will be a lot of people who will try to rope you in. Jiang Xijing said. Oh right, what kind of powers does Myriad Tao City have? Chen Xiang asked. There are 10 great powers, and 3 of them are weaker than the rest. They are respectively the Heavenly Tao Sect, Sword Tao Sect, and Fire Tao Sect. None of the 3 powers are able to manage the Myriad Tao Divine Steel, and the other 7 are the 4 Great Villa. Jiang Xijing said, My parents were once part of one of the villas. They died while hunting dragon beasts. Big sister and I were raised by Grandma. Grandma knows a little about alchemy, and I learned it from Grandma. Originally, Grandma wanted to recommend us to go to Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa, but Big Sister refused to go. Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa? What about the other 6 villas? Chen Xiang asked. Eastern Dragon, Western Tiger, Southern Sparrow, and Northern Wu, these are the villas named by the 4 divine beasts, then the Qilin Villa, Phoenix Mountain Villa, and Divine Elephant Villa. These 7 great villas and the 3 great sects are not in the Myriad Tao City, they are all in the 10 better positions in the Dragon Beast Forest. Chen Xiang knew that there were powerful forces here, but he did not know of any of them. Oh, so it's like that. It seems quite complicated. I thought that the 3 doors outside were already very strong. Chen Xiang did not expect this. The people from the 7 great villas were once part of the 3 great doors outside, and because everyone was Hi+ing towards the Myriad Tao Mausoleum, over time, everyone gathered here, and gradually developed into a force that built the Myriad Tao City. So after leaving this place, it is true that the 3 great villas are the strongest, but here, the strength of the 7 great villas is stronger than the 3 great doors. After so many years of development, the 3 gates are now pretty good. It can be said that they came from behind, and after a while, they might be able to get the authority to manage the Myriad Tao's divine steel. A small fry like us, if we go to the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa, we would also be bullied. Maybe there will be a worse result. In places with power and battles, there will be unspoken rules. We don't have enough strength, so we won't be able to control ourselves. That's why elder sister didn't go. Chen Xiang nodded his head. Indeed, there may be more battles coming up. The 3 doors here had called in the experts from the other 3 sections. They must be preparing to take action to increase their strength. I'm really useless. I can't be like elder sister who knows how to refine pills or do business. Jiang Xijing sighed. Of course not. Your speed of ripening medicinal herbs is extremely fast. I have a batch of saplings here to mature you. Chen Xiang took out more than 10 small saplings. These were all saplings that would need the same kind of red fruit to refine Gomaidan. Great, I was just worrying about nothing to do. Jiang Xijing felt that he hadn't done anything, but wanted Chen Xiang's Tao crystal instead, so he couldn't help but feel apologetic in his heart. I will plant it in my divine sense sea world. Jiang Xijing was suddenly very happy, her face had a sweet smile. Right at this time, Jiang Ximei returned. It's sold out? Chen Xiang asked. He had not gone out for long. Yes, I went to the center of the city to sell them. I got them very quickly. I originally wanted to sell them for 500 pills, but I added 700 pills, selling a total of almost 50 myriad Tao crystals. That's King great. Jiang Ximei laughed. He was also very satisfied with Chen Xiang giving him 30 myriad Tao crystals. At this rate, he would quickly earn enough Tao crystal to buy 100 of them. That would take 1,000,000. Bang 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 Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Jiang Ximei was just about to open the door, when he heard a boom sound. It's this woman. A fiendish-looking middle-aged man said. That's right, he's the one who went to our territory to sell that Gomai Dan. There were many people behind the middle-aged man, and one of them said, "Smash it!" The middle-aged man shouted angrily. A group of people immediately rushed in and with a few crackling sounds, they smashed everything inside the shop. Jiang Sijing was also scared and hid behind Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang clenched his fists tightly. He really wanted to make a move, but realized that these people were all from the Tai Dao realm, especially the middle-aged leader, whose power was unfathomable. Take out the 10 myriad Tao crystals, and you will be spared from the pain of skin and flesh. A middle-aged man sneered. C-2695. C-2695 Chen Xiang and Jiang Sime were both people who would rather die than submit. Even if they were to take's life, they would not give the other party a single Dao crystal. Do you dare to tell me where you're from? Jiang Sime clenched her jade fists and said while ing her teeth. Her shop had mysteriously suffered a beating, and was about to be threatened to give her 10 myriad Tao crystals. Since she was young, she had never encountered such an infuriating situation. Girl, who do you think you are? It's just an alchemist on the street who would be afraid of you. The middle-aged leader sneered. Are you going to give or not? What? You dare to come and destroy my shop? Don't you dare report your own home? Jiang Sime said lowly, and at the same time, his ice-cold eyes carefully sized up these people. Jiang Sijing hid behind Chen Xiang, not daring to speak. She was a woman who had always hoped to stay away from worldly affairs. This was the first time she had encountered such a violent thing. If you don't give it to me, I will leave this shop for now. This broken shop of yours should be worth 7 or 8 myriad Tao crystals. The middle-aged man looked at the shop and nodded his head in satisfaction. This was because there were still rooms and pill refining rooms inside, so it was rather S.P.A. What, you want to know our origins? Fine, I'll tell you then. We are from the Black Tiger Stockade village. Now you know how to be afraid. The middle-aged man had already taken out his weapon. If you can't take out the 10 myriad Tao crystals, then quickly scram. This shop is ours now. Chen Xiang was also very angry at this moment. Seeing the ferocious veins on Chen Xiang's tightly clenched fist, Jiang Sime knew that she was feeling the same way. Just as Chen Xiang was about to attack, she suddenly felt her fist being held by a delicate jade hand. Jiang Sime held him tightly, and then she shook her head at him. Let's go. Jiang Sime anxiously brought Chen Xiang out of the shop. After walking far away, only then did Chen Xiang snort. Beautiful, with your personality, how could you allow this group of people to occupy our shop? Right now, my strength is not enough, and they have so many people, and each of them is a Tai Dao realm, not to mention that there is a Black Tiger Stockade village behind them. If we were to offend them, and if the Black Tiger Stockade village finds out, it would be difficult for us to establish ourselves in the Myriad Tao city. Jiang Sime said, Don't look at how I normally am. If I encounter something like this, I'll still be extremely calm. Jiang Sijing nodded his head. Elder brother Shen, Black Tiger Stockade village, is very strong. We don't have any background, so we can only endure. I swear, I will definitely not let this bunch of B.A.S.T.A.R.D.S. off easily. Black Tiger Stockade village, one day I will definitely make them unable to even become dogs. Jiang Sime said fiercely. Chen Xiang sighed. Then you should tell me, who exactly is this Black Tiger Stockade village from, and I thought they were people from the 7 Great Villa and the 3 Great Way. Although they are not one of the 7 Great Villas and 3 Great Doors, they are related to one of the 7 Great Villas. They are subsidiary powers of the Western Tiger Mountain Villa. Jiang Sime said, This is what I am worried about, otherwise, even if I have to risk my life, I will castrate these B.A.S.T.A.R.D.S. just now. Jiang Sijing said in a low voice, There are 3 evil dogs under the Western Tiger Mountain Villa, and the Black Tiger Stockade village is one of them. also known as the Black Dog Stronghold. As long as they don't pay attention to us, we will be bitten by them, because these subsidiary strengths are often given to the Western Tiger Mountain Villa by Tao Crystal, so they are protected. People like us who don't have any strength are bullied, and we don't have anywhere to say it. Alright, the next step is to raise our strength and destroy the entire Black Dog Stronghold, Chen Xiang said. Chen Xiang and the two sisters came to the old granny's shop. Grandmother. Once Jiang Xijing entered, he shouted happily. It's rare for you two girls to come visit me. The grandma was very happy and laughed. This child is also here. It seems that you two have gotten along quite well. Greetings, old granny. Chen Xiang immediately bowed. Grandma, our shop has been robbed. We'll stay here from now on. Jiang Ximei sighed. It's all my fault. I accidentally ran over to Black Tiger Stockade Village's territory to do business. When the old granny heard this, she was slightly shocked, but she quickly let Chen Xiang and the others in. She was aware that Jiang Ximei had refined the Gumaidan, and now knew that it was. A big tree rouses the wind. However, this child is truly amazing. His alchemy skills are extraordinary and are destined to attract attention. However, we are not strong enough and you do not wish to rely on any other faction. The old granny said, although the myriad Tao city looks orderly, but they are very dark in the dark, especially those powers. I know, but this is not the way. Chen Xiang's pill techniques are so brilliant, his pill refining speed is so fast, sooner or later, this business will be huge. Jiang Ximei sighed. Don't tell me that we really have to join some dog S.I+T faction? The feeling of being under someone else is really not good. Furthermore, if they see how skilled Chen Xiang is in pill refining, forcing him to teach them pill techniques, wouldn't that be harming Chen Xiang? Jiang Xijing also nodded her head. Elder sister is right, those big powers are able to produce many evil and small powers, they will definitely not do well. Elder brother Shen's cultivation is also low. When she sees elder brother Shen's brilliant pill techniques, she will definitely want to take it for herself. I have an idea. Chen Xiang said. We will not sell the Gumaidan to individuals, we will sell it to the shops, and let them earn the Tao crystal. This way, Mei Mei will not have to work so hard to promote and sell the Gumaidan, and will directly send the owners of the shops to take it. This way, the shops that manage to earn Tao Crystal S would also be very grateful to us. After a while, they would become very reliant on us, and at that time, even a vicious dog like the Black Tiger Stockade Village would not dare to be arrogant towards us. Jiang Ximei listened and nodded. This idea is not bad. Jiang Xijing laughed. Although elder sister has a bad temper, but she has gotten along well with the owner of that street, and should be able to get along with him. The grandma smiled and said, smart child. But you should be more careful and not attract too much attention. Even if you sell a lot, you can't say that you concocted those pills yourself. That way, no one would find it too strange. I'll go and concoct pills now. Beauty, contact the owner of that street well. Or the shopkeepers from other shops. I will speed up my cultivation and provide them with sufficient supplies. Chen Xiang said. Alright, I'll go talk to my enemies in Black Tiger Stockade Village's medicine shop. Jiang Ximei nodded. Chen Xiang gave her some Gumaidan and told her to give these Gumaidan to the owners of the shops for free. C2696. C2696. If he could not sell the Tao crystal, Chen Xiang's road to riches would be severed. He would definitely not allow this to happen. He had planned to cultivate 10-rule Tao line here, so he needed to rely on the Tao crystal. The old granny's shop was rather large, and its secret chamber was not small as well. It was constructed underground and was extremely well sealed. Chen Xiang stood in this secret room, which was filled with over 100 people, and pondered on how many Gumaidan he could refine all of a sudden. We can probably put down 100 magic method furnace here, but we don't know how long we'll take to refine them. Chen Xiang looked at the little red fruits in the Yu Yao mountain villa. There were a lot of them, too. He had planted many of these fruits inside the Yu Yao mountain villa. Jiang Xijing had also used her earth law's power to cultivate a lot. Basically, she would mature in 3 days, and the Gomai Dan's medicine could be said to be endless. Alright, now that I don't have to worry about the herbs, I'll just use 4 fruits to make them. I guarantee that I will produce at least 10 of them, and 100 of them in a day will make 1,000. This speed can be considered very fast. As long as he did not use the crash method to refine pills, Chen Xiang could use the Dewan refining method to refine multiple pills at the same time. Chen Xiang adjusted his condition for a bit, and then began refining. He released 100 magic method furnace, and placed 4 red fruits in each of them. After that, he closed his eyes and controlled the 100 pill furnaces to start refining the Gomai Dan. From the very beginning, the process went smoothly. After all, the pill he concocted was a high-grade Heaven's Path pill, and the consumption was quite huge. Moreover, he was not used to it. It had only been 6 hours, but Chen Xiang already felt that it was extremely strenuous. Simultaneously refining 100 batches, his speed would also drop by a lot. According to this rate of progress, I should be able to finish it within 6 hours. Chen Xiang estimated that he could still rest for the remaining matters. At the end, he already felt very tired, and it was almost time for him to reach the core formation stage. As long as I can endure it. Chen Xiang's entire body was covered in sweat, his mind was in a mess and he wanted to fall down, but right now he could only rely on his will. Congealing pellets might only require an hour, but to the current Chen Xiang, it was like several days. Finally, Chen Xiang took a deep breath. With a wave of his hand, he collected all the magic method furnaces. Right now, the entire secret room was filled with dense red light spots. Those were all Gomai Dan. He placed the Gomai Dan in a jade box and then immediately laid down on the ground to rest. He released the primitive Tao power from the Tao God soul to water his withered divine sense sea, restoring his spirit. In just 2 hours, he had become spirited. However, this was only his appearance. He was still rather tired. When Chen Xiang came to the top, Jiang Ximei had already returned. "How is it going?" Chen Xiang asked. "Right now, the fame of the Gomai Dan is not small. It can be sold for 600 or 700 Tao crystals per pellet. I have already talked it over with the owners. There are a total of 20 shops that are willing to cooperate with me and agree to protect me." Jiang Ximei laughed. "It's up to you to set the price. How about we sell 500 Tao crystals to them?" Chen Xiang said. "Yes, this is also their psychological price." Jiang Ximei nodded his head. "In 10 days, you will probably have how much? We will give them the goods once every 10 days. 10 days. 10,000 pills." Chen Xiang smiled mysteriously. To be able to refine 10,000 pills in 10 days, both Jiang Xijing and Jiang Ximei found this hard to believe. Even the knowledgeable old granny had a face full of disbelief. This was because Chen Xiang was concocting the pill alone. It would be more accurate if he had 100 alchemists. This is a secret, just tell the outside that we have a lot of alchemists. Chen Xiang said. "Alright, we don't need the Tao crystal that we earned for the time being. We'll help you buy the law beads and raise it to the 10th place of Tao God realm first. Your current cultivation level is too low." Jiang Ximei also believed in Chen Xiang. "Then I won't be polite. I do need to raise my cultivation." Chen Xiang laughed, then walked into the secret room. Chen Xiang was resting inside the secret room. "In 10 days, I will be able to sell 10,000 Gomai Dan, which would amount to 500 myriad Tao crystals. In total, I can exchange for 500 law beads, which is enough for me to form 5 rule Tao line." When he thought about this, Chen Xiang became extremely excited. He never thought that the pills he could casually refine would actually bring him such a huge benefit. He still needed to condense 9 more rule Tao line, and each Tao vein would require 100 myriad Tao crystals, and he would also need 9 million. If it was before, he felt that it would still take a long time to do it, but now, he could earn that much in less than a month. Who was above was even more excited. According to Chen Xiang's pill refining speed, earning 1,000 myriad Tao crystals in a month was not a problem at all. 10 days later, Chen Xiang walked out of the secret room and gave Jiang Sime 10,000 Gomaidan pills. In these 10 days, I went to investigate. The demand for Gomaidan in the Myriad Tao City is still very high, especially for a lot of people with 10th place of Dao God realm as Jiang Sime said, and for those below 10th place of Dao God realm, there are a lot of people that need to quickly consolidate their Dao veins, and also need this pill. In other words, Gomaidan can sell for a long time. Chen Xiang laughed. Looks like I'll be able to break through to the 10th place of Dao God realm very soon. That's true. In the future, even if you manage to cultivate a rare rule Dao line, it won't be a problem. I've already spoken to them about it. Jiang Sime laughed. Then I'll go rest first. Chen Xiang was not tired at the moment. He had gradually gotten used to refining continuously for 10 days. At the same time, Jiang Sijing was also in the secret room growing those red fruit. She had planted a lot of them to ensure that Chen Xiang was not lacking. Chen Xiang did not refine any pellets in the secret ENT, but was researching on how to refine higher quality Jinyuan Dao Dan. The main purpose of the Jinyuan Dao Dan was to help the Tai Dao realm in its cultivation. If his Gomaidan became hard to sell in the future, he would be able to obtain a new type of pill with good effects. 2 days later, Chen Xiang added one of the medicinal ingredients Tai Shangzhen had given him to the Jinyuan Dao Dan, refining a pellet of extremely high-quality medicine that also had the characteristics of a Jinyuan Dao Dan. Let's call it Tianhun Gold Dan. Chen Xiang did not have the Dao God soul, so he did not know how much more effective he was than the Jinyuan Dao Dan, but he could guarantee that this was an upper-level natural law Dan, and that it would be easy to refine. More importantly, the amount of pills he could produce was very high, because it was refined with several types of ingredients that could concoct 6 pills in one furnace. Let Mei Mei and Sijing try. Chen Xiang walked out of the secret room. Here, 500 myriad Tao crystals. Jiang Sime threw a storage bag to Chen Xiang as he laughed. It's only been 10 days, and you're already earning that much. This book came from 17K, so the first thing he did was to look at the original content. C2697. C2697 Chen Xiang giggled. Jiang Sijing was there too, smiling sweetly at Chen Xiang, then walked over and gave the red fruit she planted to Chen Xiang. Elder brother Shen, these are the little red fruits that I grew. There are tens of thousands of them. Jiang Sijing said. Amen, Sijing is so powerful. After I have reached the 10th stage of the Dao Hi plus realm, I will surely give you a share of the Dao crystal. Chen Xiang scratched her cute nose. Chen Xiang took out 2 Tianhun Gold Dan and said, Beautiful Sijing, try this, see how much better the effects of this pill is compared to the Jinyuan Dao Dan. This is a new type of pill I just made, called Tianhun Gold Dan. Jiang Sijing and Jiang Sime hurriedly took it and consumed it, then sat on the chair and refined it with their eyes closed. Not long after, Jiang Sime said, when strengthening the spirit of the Dao Gods, it's 100 times stronger than a Jinyuan Dao Dan. What a tyrannical medicinal strength, it's way better than the Jinyuan Dao Dan. Jiang Sijing said. Chen Xiang was a little surprised. 100 times? Then how many Dao crystals can it be sold for? Jiang Sime thought for a while, then said, the lowest quality Jinyuan Dao Dan is 30 pellets, and this Tianhun Gold Dan is 100 times more effective than the Jinyuan Dao Dan, which is equivalent to 3,000 Dao Crystal, but taking into account that it has to compete with the Jinyuan Dao Dan, selling 2,500 Dao Crystal would definitely be very popular. Of course, as long as the price is 2,203, those shops will decide the price themselves. Jiang Ximei had carefully selected all the shops before, and they were all scattered across more than 20 areas of the myriad Tao city. All of them were middle to large-scale stores in these 20 areas, and since these areas were far from the shops, there was no need to form tie-in between the stores. Of course, in these more than 20 areas, there were no Black Tiger Stockade Village's territory, and there weren't even any shops under the Western Tiger Mountain Villa's banner. The reason she did this was also to take revenge on the Black Tiger Stockade Village. Because of the Black Tiger Stockade Village, all of the powers under the Western Tiger Mountain Villa were implicated, causing Jiang Ximei to not look for them to do business. One must know that their region was also very large, and many people ran to other regions to buy Gomai Dan. If Jiang Ximei found them, they could also earn a lot. If it was the past, they would definitely come to threaten Jiang Ximei. But Jiang Ximei was currently being protected by 20 different shops. It would be good if Jiang Ximei did not let the 20 over shops cause trouble for them. Therefore, Jiang Ximei was a big sister because she made the owners of the shops earn a lot. Within the myriad Tao city, there are the most number of Tai Dao Realm South and 10th place of Dao God Realm S, and they are also a relatively strong group of people who can often kill Dragon Beast. And Tai Dao Realm S need to cultivate spirit of the Dao GODSS, so they are very willing to learn from this. When Jiang Ximei had nothing to do, he would investigate this sort of thing. When I reach the 10th place of Dao GOD Realm and don't really need the Dao Crystal, let's change to a bigger place. That way I can refine even more pills. Chen Xiang laughed. Elder brother Shen, the more larger the place, the more you can refine? It's so magical. Jiang Xijing asked naively. The place is bigger, but he can store more pill furnaces. He must have controlled more than one pill furnace at a time. This is a very good technique. Only those who have cultivated for thousands or tens of thousands of years can use it. Jiang Ximei said, Right, Chen Xiang. Yes, my pill refining age is also tens of thousands of years. Chen Xiang laughed. Chen Xiang walked out of the shop and headed towards the myriad Tao's divine steel. He told Jiang Ximei to tell the shop owners that the next time they sell it would be 20 days later, because he was going to cultivate the Rule Dao line next. He was going to buy law beads now. After arriving at the old mansion, there were still many people present. Senior Tai, why are you here? Chen Xiang did not expect to come here and meet Tai Shangzhen again. I'm working here now. I'm a member of the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa. Tai Shangzhen laughed out loud. Although I was a leader of the Sublime Flow Sword Grotto before, when I came here, I knew that I was observing the sky from the well. So this is the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa. Chen Xiang did not expect this, but why didn't you join the Sword Sect? The Sword Truth Sect's gate should also be here. Sigh, it's hard to put into words. Although I train in the way of the sword, but the Sword Dao gate here is completely different from the one I train in since I was young, and it caused me to become very confused, so I decided to exit and enter the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa. Tai Shangzhen said, and people of the Pill Dao are also like me, they are all in the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa, and that fellow in the Pill Dao is more or less what I thought. Chen Xiang nodded. He had seen the old man in the Pill Dao. His temperament was indeed very different from the leader S of other sections. Old man Tai, you actually have the face to preach to the younger generation after doing such a disloyal thing. A middle-aged man walked in, his body covered in blood, and beside him followed 9 middle-aged men and elderly men, all of whom were sect leader S of the Fire Way and the Sword Way. Now, they had also joined the Sword and Fire Door, and no longer had a high and mighty status. From the looks of it, they had just returned from hunting dragon beasts. If I truly join this place's Sword Dao Gate, then that would be true treason. The way the Sword Dao Gate talks about walking in here is no longer the way of the Sword Dao that I'm familiar with, Tai Xiangjin said coldly. Hearing Tai Xiangjin's words, Chen Xiang knew that the three sects here were strange, especially the Tian Dao sect. Previously, he had seen the upper echelons of the Heaven's Path sect, but he had not seen Natural Law Divine Lord. He felt that the Natural Law Divine Lord must be inside the Heaven's Path sect, and might be a very important person. We just caught a dragon ape. This is something worth 20 myriad Tao crystals. And you? Ha! How much can you earn here? The middle-aged man from Fire Avenue sneered. Although I don't earn much, at least I don't have to do things that are ungrateful. Tai Xiangjin was extremely disdainful. 20 myriad Tao crystals? Out of the 10 of you, none of you are more than 20,000. Chen Xiang said. Brat, you're only returning 20,000 or so. With 10 of us working together, it'll be easy for each of us to earn 100,000 a month. The last time you sold that dragon wolf, you only earned a few thousand. Can you guarantee that you could kill 10 of them in a month? Definitely not. After all, Chen Xiang's cultivation was very low, and his relations, HI+P with Tai Xiangjin was not bad. Of course I can't kill 10 dragon wolf in a month. I won't kill one either, because I can still earn a lot even if I don't kill one. Chen Xiang laughed. I am here to purchase fire rule beads. Hearing that, Tai Xiangjin laughed. Really? I just happen to be in charge of selling the fire rule beads, little friend Shin. I can give you a discount. Senior Tai, is this true? If I want a large amount, how much can you give me off? Did you make any money yourself? Chen Xiang did not think that Tai Xiangjin would actually do such a thing. It was not bad. We have quite a few fire rule beads here. If I sell them, I will receive a lot of rewards, Tai Xiangjin said. With just this brat alone, he can buy 5 of them, the middle-aged man said in a mocking tone. Chen Xiang did not bother with him and took out a storage bag and said, I want 500 of them. There are 500 myriad Tao crystals inside. C2698. C2698. The moment Chen Xiang opened his mouth, he asked for 500 pills. Even Tai Xiangjin felt that Chen Xiang was joking, not to mention the people from the Fire Dao Sword Dao. However, when Tai Xiangjin received the storage bag from Chen Xiang, he was immediately stunned, because there really were 500 myriad Tao crystals inside. Fire rule beads were worth 10,000 each. Chen Xiang wanted 500 pellets now, and according to the price, it would indeed be 5 million. But since he bought so many at once, he would definitely get a discount. Wait a moment, I'll be right back. Tai Xiangjin anxiously ran to the second floor and invited an old man. Chen Xiang had seen this old man last time, and he was the shopkeeper who bought his dragon wolf. Hearing that there was such a big deal, the shopkeeper hurriedly walked down and picked up the storage bag and took a deep breath. 500 fire rule beads, right? The manager asked again. Yes, how many benefits can there be? Senior Tai had said earlier that if you buy a lot at once, there will be a discount. Chen Xiang laughed. I'll return these 50 myriad Tao crystals to you, and only take 4,500,000. I'll give you a 10% discount. The shopkeeper returned 50 myriad Tao crystals to Chen Xiang and ordered another 500 fire rule beads to be handed over. After Chen Xiang received it, he took a glance at the fire middle-aged man who had mocked and ridiculed him just now. Although there was an expression of disbelief on his face, his eyes were filled with jealousy. He could not understand why Chen Xiang had so many Dao crystal. They had spent a lot of time and effort to hunt a dragon ape, but they had only managed to obtain 20 myriad Tao crystals. Chen Xiang was just a little brat, yet he could actually take out 5 million in one breath. With such a comparison, they were all a group of poor B.A.S.T. ARDS and had even belittled them earlier. When they thought of this, they really wanted to find a hole to hide in. There's a rented practice room here? I want to find a quiet and safe place to cultivate, Chen Xiang said. He had 500 fire rule beads right now, but they were a large amount of wealth. Yes, I'll give it to you for free. I'll take you there. The storekeeper chuckled. Towards such a big client, his attitude was naturally very good. Chen Xiang followed the shopkeeper up the stairs and into a quiet secret room. He did not know how long he would take to come out. I wonder if these fire rule beads can be refined. Chen Xiang took out one pellet and carefully examined it. These law beads need to eat it in order to absorb the power of the ancient code. Try it and you'll know. If I can refine it, I might be able to cultivate a rule Dao line with only a few fire rule beads. Chen Xiang took out the chuangs. Hi+God furnace. He was still very confident in his own heavenly alchemy. He placed a fire rule beads into the chuangs. Hi+God furnace and used the method of refining pills to refine it. He had been injecting strong flames into the law beads to burn and refine, wanting to split the power of the ancient code inside the law beads and then use the crash method. However, the fire rule beads was very strange. The flames could not even get close to it. Could it be because of the power of the laws inside the fire rule beads? So the flames cannot get close to it? Chen Xiang continued to use the heavenly alchemy to try and use multiple methods, but no matter what, the flames could not get close to the law bead. After tossing and turning for more than 2 hours, he took out the fire rule bead. There was not even the slightest bit of heat on it. This is strange. After Chen Xiang put away the law beads, he closed his eyes and went to check the heavenly alchemy. As his cultivation realm rose bit by bit, the contents of the heavenly alchemy that he was unable to comprehend before also began to become clearer and clearer. He carefully read it twice from start to finish. Finally, he understood the method to refine the power of law. This kind of law beads is also called a law pill or a great Tao pill. It is equivalent to a formed pill, so it cannot be refined by pill refining. Chen Xiang had read from New a change in heavenly alchemy, and after obtaining a huge harvest, he now had a direction and knew what to do. After he ate a law beads, the law of fire inside the law beads gradually leaked out. At this time, he controlled the overflowing law of fire to flow out of his body and pour into the chuangs. Hi+God furnace. These fire rule beads energies are the laws of the divine wasteland. They can be said to be of an even higher level than the laws of fire. As long as I use these laws of fire to cultivate these rule Dao line, I can become compatible with my Dao God soul. The fire rule beads would melt when it entered the body, which was the same as a pill with a spiritual God. From this, it could be seen that the quality of the law beads was also very high. Very quickly, the chuangs. Hi+God furnace already possessed a large amount of the fire laws. Chen Xiang never thought that a very small bead would actually contain such a dense amount of the laws. This is also very good. I don't need to use fire to refine it. My previous method was really stupid. Chen Xiang laughed at himself and then split the power of the ancient code within the chuangs. Hi+God furnace into 8B, AL, making a collision. At the moment of impact, the pill furnace was calm and did not emit any sound. After that, Chen Xiang started his second crash. It was only when he reached the 5 crashes that he found it hard to endure. It should be fine. I only used an hour from start to finish. I don't know how much the quality will increase. Chen Xiang took out the fire rule beads that had gone through the 5 crashes. After eating it, there was an unending stream of the fire laws flowing out. Chen Xiang immediately channeled his energy and absorbed it, merging it into the divine sense C and condensing his fire Dao vein. Very quickly, this law beads was completely absorbed by Chen Xiang. Not bad. After the collision, this pill is equivalent to 3 pills. This effect is very good. Originally, I was going to use 100 pills, but after I refined it, I only needed to eat 30 pills to condense the fire Tao meridian. Chen Xiang was very satisfied with this result. After discovering this, Chen Xiang planned to refine more of these. This way, he would only need to eat 270 pills to condense 9 fire Tao veins. At that time, he would only have a lot more left. He continued refining the fire rule bead. What he was looking forward to was, in the future, the SPAC laws or flight laws and other kinds of rare laws and powers could also be refined using this method. At that time, he wouldn't need to buy that much, and he would be able to cultivate a rare rule Tao line. His speed was a little faster than before. Right now, he was eating all the pills and cultivating at the same time, but even so, he was still able to refine more than 20 pills in a day, which was about a month's time. He estimated that he would be able to reach 10th place of Tao God realm in about a month's time. In just a day's time, he had cultivated a Tao meridian in fire, and in addition to his previous Tao meridian, he now had 2. Just as he had expected, he only ate 30 refined law beads and broke through. In order to break through to the 10th place of Tao God realm in one go, he asked Tai Shangzhen to send a message to him, telling him that he would be staying in closed-door cultivation for a month, and that he would need to ask the owners of the shops to wait. C2699. C2699 Jiang Sime also thought that it was nothing much. The shops were not in a rush, even if they sold out. As long as Chen Xiang knew how to refine these pills, he would still sell them quickly in the future, and with the lack of stock for a period of time, coupled with the fame of the Gumai Dan, the price would increase a little. Just like that, Chen Xiang went back to cultivate peacefully. He had just formed a fire Tao vein. He needed to consolidate this Tao vein to be able to cultivate in the 3rd meridian. At that time, his Gumai Dan would be useful. The Gumai Dan that he had eaten were not the kind that he had refined in batches. What he had eaten was something that had been refined using the crash method. The quality of Gumai Dan after is different. Chen Xiang sighed in admiration. He had only taken 2 pills, and it was enough to stabilize his fire path meridian, before continuing to refine fire rule beads. Just like this, more than 20 days said. At this time, he had already cultivated up to 10 Tao veins, one of which was his basic Tao vein, while the other 9 were fire rule Tao line. I only used fire to increase my strength by a lot. The other aspects of the improvement are not very obvious. Chen Xiang was a little disappointed, but his flames were indeed much stronger. In terms of physical body, he was already strong enough, and had long reached the level of many 10th place of Tao God realm S, and even far Serpa. As said it. He had also only consumed 200 fire rule beads, because he could carry out 6 crash S of fire rule beads later on. I still have 300 fire rule beads left. This is 300 myriad Tao crystals. Chen Xiang planned to ask Jiang Sime again when he got back. Seeing as he had a way to deal with it, he didn't have any use for it now. Now he began to eat the Tianhun Gold Dan that had been refined by the crash method, because he wanted to cultivate the spirit of the Tao Gods, and only by doing so would he be able to increase his strength greatly. Tai Tao realm mainly focuses on the spirit of the Tao Gods. The stronger the spirit of the Tao Gods, the stronger the Tao force it can release. As for my spirit of the Tao Gods, it can release primitive Tao power, so it is much stronger than others. Chen Xiang's refining techniques could allow him to produce pills with strong effects, such as the Tianhun Gold Dan he was eating now had extremely strong effects. He had carried out 6 crash S of all those Tianhun Gold Dan, so he could refine 5 pellets a day. Roughly 10 days later, he ate 50 of these Tianhun Gold Dan and also cultivated spirit of the Tao Gods. This spirit of the Tao Gods was very special. It looked like a huge golden mirror that was suspended in the air. At this time, one end of the 10-rule Tao line S was connected to the 10-law profound doors, while the other end was connected to the spirit of the Tao Gods. Let's see how strong the primitive Tao power is right now. Chen Xiang's mind moved. The divine sense C mirror flashed and released a golden light. The golden light said through the rule Tao line and rushed into the code gate. What a strong flame! Chen Xiang only felt the flame coming to his arm, and he found it to be strong. He immediately kept it. It would be great if I could have ASP, AC Tao Meridian. Chen Xiang could now use an even stronger power of the fire laws. After all, he had 9 fire rule Tao line. Chen Xiang had isolated himself for a month and now, he had also stepped into the Tai Tao realm. This had exceeded his expectations before, and even he himself had not expected that he would break through so quickly. Chen Xiang hurriedly returned to look for Jiang Sime. Jiang Sime did not say anything. She even hoped that Chen Xiang would cultivate for a long time. Right now, she was no longer able to clearly sense Chen Xiang's cultivation level, which meant that Chen Xiang was already around her level, and they were both in the Tai Tao realm. In just a month's time, Chen Xiang, who was at the first level of the Tao God realm, actually broke through to the Tai Tao realm. As long as there are enough law beads, it will suffice. But looking at the Tao crystal in your hands, you can only purchase 500 of them. Jiang Sime couldn't understand. Elder brother Shen, what method did you use? Jiang Sijing was very curious. I am a very powerful alchemist. After I refine those law beads, I will place several of each one on top. Chen Xiang smiled mysteriously. This is a secret, don't tell anyone. If you need my help in refining it, you can just say so. Jiang Sime and Jiang Sijing were both shocked that the law beads could be refined as well. They nodded their heads immediately and became extremely excited, which meant that they did not need to buy too many law beads to be able to cultivate such a rare rule Tao line. Right, I'll go back to forge pills first. I'll wait for a day or two more. Chen Xiang laughed. After breaking through, all aspects of him had greatly improved. After all, he had risen by a whole realm. The underground chamber that he was in was relatively small, and he could only produce 100 pill furnaces. In order to refine more Gomai Dan faster, he had poured more medicinal ingredients into each one of the magic method furnace. With his current strength, this was not as difficult as before, and he could still do it easily. 50 pills per batch, this should be my limit. Chen Xiang also had a lot of those red fruits. Jiang Sijing had always had a lot of them, so he could use a lot of them to refine. In 2 hours, he had completed 100 batches of pills. Each batch contained 50 pills, and 5,000 pills were completed just like that. He had refined 50,000 pills in an entire 10 hours, and his pill refining speed was simply insane. After Jiang Sime obtained the Gomaidan, he anxiously contacted the owners of the shops, telling them to come here to retrieve the cores, and they sold it very quickly. Mimi, there are 300 law beads here. Use them to buy a larger shop. Chen Xiang handed the fire rule beads over to Jiang Sime. The larger the SPAC, the more comfortable it would be to live in. She only went there for half a day before she came back to look for Chen Xiang and Jiang Sijing. Afterwards, she moved to the little villa that she bought. The old granny remained in the same shop. Sijing, it's so beautiful. Have you guys thought about what kind of rare rule Tao line you want to cultivate? Chen Xiang laughed. Next, we'll be earning Tao crystal more and more. I've already thought about it. I want to cultivate Death Rule Tao line and Ice Lightning Tao veins. All of the required law beads are worth 10 million each. Jiang Sime said. My current Tao meridians are pretty good. If you want to cultivate a rare Tao meridian, that is, to regenerate a rule Tao line, it can heal injuries and it can also control a beast. Jiang Sijing said. They are also law beads of the 1,000 myriad taos crystal rank. Elder brother Shun, what about you? Jiang Sijing asked. What does the most expensive law beads have? Chen Xiang did not say it out loud. He did not think that there would be such strange laws here. He had not even heard of the rules that Jiang Simei and Jiang Sijing talked about before. C 2700. C 2700 Chen Xiang actually wanted to cultivate the most expensive pill. At first, Jiang Simei and Jiang Sijing were very surprised, but when they thought of Chen Xiang's terrifying pill refining skills, they felt that it was nothing strange. The most expensive thing is the SPAC laws, law of flight, law of annihilation, law of stars, law of the dragon Tao. These are all 100 million law beads each. Is there nothing more expensive? Chen Xiang asked. He felt that the spatial and flight laws were more important, especially when fighting, and the annihilation laws also made him more interested. It sounded like a type of law with a strong destructive power. Of course, he was also very curious about the Tao of the dragon. There was no need for too many rule Tao lines. Just one was enough, and rule Tao line could only use higher level laws. For example, Chen Xiang knew how to use the power of SPAC, but it was not high enough. If there was a rule Tao line, his ability to use the spatial laws would increase by one level, and he could use it here. It should be gone. The more expensive thing is the primal laws, because they are not for sale. Jiang Simei said. Alright, I will start concocting pills now. I will calculate and see how many Gomaidan I need to buy and how many I need to buy. Chen Xiang laughed. This is too much. Jiang Simei said. Oh yes, you can take 100 law beads from 20 of them? Yes, your law beads are all at the level of 10 million. Why don't you try cultivating them first? Said. 20 pills was still only 200 million. He felt that it should be done very quickly. In theory, it will be very fast, but with so many pills, we will definitely become very famous. We just don't know how much trouble we'll attract then. Jiang Simei was very worried about this. If the Gomaidan was sold for 200 million, then there would definitely be a lot of them, so he could roughly calculate how many there were. Looks like we have to keep a low profile. Chen Xiang nodded. Chen Xiang was concocting pills in the ENT, which amounted to 50,000 in one day. After he closed up for 10 days, he managed to refine 500,000 pills. Of course, she did not dare to release so many goods at once. She would definitely cause trouble and would do as she was told. But even so, her reputation was very big. After all, the supply of Gomaidan was very large, and the effects were not bad. For many people, it was very useful, allowing them to quickly consolidate their rule Tao line. Chen Xiang suddenly thought of a way. He immediately went to look for Tai Shangzhen. Senior Tai, did you get promoted? When Chen Xiang arrived, he laughed and said, Yes, I'm the manager here now. Because he had made a huge deal with Chen Xiang last time, Tai Shangzhen was highly regarded. Do you have some kind of big business deal with me again? Chen Xiang nodded his head. With a stern expression, Tai Shangzhen anxiously brought him to a private room. To be honest, the famous Gomaidan today was created by me. Chen Xiang had known Tai Shangzhen for a long time, so he had confidence in Tai Shangzhen. He felt that the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa Tai Shangzhen joined was pretty good, so he wanted to ask Tai Shangzhen a few things. So that's how it is. No wonder you're so rich. Tai Shangzhen chuckled. You should be the big boss behind Mei Jing Store's scenes. Something like that. Chen Xiang revealed a face of worry. Now that the business is big, I am worried that it will cause trouble. Senior Tai, do you know any experts that are lacking Tao Crystal? I want to invite a few of them to guard my Mei Jing store. The Mei Jing store was named after Jiang Simei and Jiang Sijing, and did not sell pellets to individuals, they only sold them to the shop. Honestly speaking, not long ago, we were found by those fellows from the Black Tiger Stockade village. Qin Xiang sighed. That's not a problem. I knew two good guys in Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa. They are old guys like me, who are usually idle, but they are very strong, and their parents are both elder CLA's people in Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa. Tai Shangzhen said. If they had protected the Mei Jing store, the others would definitely not have come back to cause trouble. Oh? Do you trust these two people? Qin Xiang asked. Of course you can. Tai Shangzhen have always been very accurate with regards to other people. Tai Shangzhen patted his chest and guaranteed. I'll guarantee it, you don't have to worry. Can you tell me about the two of them? I want to know more about them. Qin Xiang asked. Of course they can. They are two brothers with the same surname, and it's also because of this that we know each other. Brother's name is Tai Bao, brother's name is Tai Bo. His parents are the elders from the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa. They normally don't like to earn Dao Crystal, because their parents are both elders. Because of this, people in the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa say that they are lazy eaters, and they always want to find relaxed and decent jobs to do them. If they can earn a few more Dao Crystal, they would be even happier. Qin Xiang also felt that this was a pretty good candidate. Since his parents were all elders of the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa, the other forces would definitely be wary of them. Then, go and ask them how many Dao Crystal they need every year. Qin Xiang said. It would be even better if I could talk with these two seniors. That's easy. I'll send someone to get them now. Tai Shangzhen said. Not long after, two white-robed elders walked in. Although they had a head full of white hair, they were very neatly groomed. They looked like older disciples of a famous sect, and were very concerned about their appearance. This young friend is Qin Xiang, right? When the taller old man saw Qin Xiang, he laughed heartily. I am Tai Bao. I am Tai Bo. The other old man had a kind smile on his face. He didn't seem to be of any value at all. Although they were all old, there was a sense of ability to them. This kid greets the two seniors. Qin Xiang also quickly bowed. After that, Tai Shangzhen briefly told the two brothers about Qin Xiang, and after they found out about it, they were extremely surprised. They did not expect the owner of the Mei Jing store to be so young. Right now, Mei Jing store has indeed received attention from many powers. Fortunately, the shops that Mei Jing store cooperates with all come from the 7 great villas, so the 7 great villas only paid attention to it and did not send anyone over to temporarily contact them. Tai Bao nodded his head. If you ask us to stand guard, this will not be a problem. With the reputation and prestige of us two brothers, the other powers will not dare to find trouble with you. At present, the Gomaidan sold by the Mei Jing store does not have any conflicts of interest with the 7 great villas' medicine stores, and it even makes those shops profitable. It can be seen that the people operating the Mei Jing store are extremely quick-witted. Tai Bo laughed. If you add on the fact that we are here, I can definitely let you rest easy. How much do the two elders need in return? Qin Xiang asked. These two old men looked very friendly, but Jiang Zhong was older after all, and both of them needed a decent amount of income. 1 year, 1,000 myriad Tao crystals. Tai Bao said, while Tai Bo also nodded his head. Tai Shangzhen was surprised. Isn't that a bit too much? Brother Shangzhen, this is not too high. Because some things happened, us two brothers are going to take action. We even need to ask our parents for help. Furthermore, these 1,000 myriad Tao crystals are split between us two brothers, and not only is it 10 million each. Tai Bao said. All right, I'll come back here to trade with you in 3 days. Qin Xiang nodded his head. He thought that the other party was taking too little, and thought that they would offer a price of over 100 million. He didn't expect them to only offer 10 million, and 2 at that. See 2701. See 2701 previously, Qin Xiang had used 10 days to refine 500,000 Gomaidan. If he sold them all, he would be able to earn more than 200 million Dao crystal. When he returned to the Mei Jing store, The first thing he saw was that the Mei Jing store's door was rotten to the core. Chen Xiang's heart tensed up. He immediately rushed into the Mei Jing store, only to see more than 10 big-sized men surrounding Jiang Ximei and his group. These black-clothed men were all very familiar to Chen Xiang, and he immediately recognized that they were people from the Black Tiger Stockade village. "What's going on?" Chen Xiang immediately rushed over and stood in front of the two sisters, his voice bringing with it a bone-piercing coldness. Jiang Ximei and Jiang Xijing's faces were ugly, and what was inside was also tattered and tattered. One could tell that they had attacked just now, but they were unable to defeat these big-sized fellows. "Could it be that you are the alchemist who refined the Gumai Dan?" The black-clothed man in the lead laughed. "Talking is fine, but before we start talking, I want to ask you all whether you made a move here or not. You were the ones who destroyed the door." Chen Xiang was furious to the extreme. How could this Black Tiger Stockade village be so bold as to directly attack him? He remembered that Jiang Ximei had spoken with the shops. If Black Tiger Stockade village dared to come and cause trouble, the shops would definitely help, and Black Tiger Stockade village was definitely aware of this, but they still came to make trouble, and it must be because of someone from the Black Tiger Stockade village. "That's right, we are only here for Jiang Ximei to discuss business, but she rejected us outside. Our Black Tiger Stockade village is quite famous in the Myriad Tao City. To actually look down on us in our anger, we could not control our emotions, and that would be rude." After entering, this woman did not bother to be reasonable and directly attacked us. We also did not injure them. Else they would have already died. Chen Xiang's expression became colder and colder, but the big-sized man was not afraid at all. "All of you need to be clear that our Black Tiger Stockade village is prepared for you. Don't think that those shops will stand up for you." The man laughed. "I'll just say it directly now, sell your Gumai Dan to us, we 400 Dao crystal will buy one from you." Jiang Ximei sold them for 500 Dao crystal S to other stores, but this Black Tiger Stockade village was actually bidding at 400. This caused Chen Xiang to be even more furious in his heart. "Don't go too far, I will give you a chance. Leave 100 myriad Tao crystals as compensation, or else I will fight to the end with you," Chen Xiang said. Jiang Xijing pulled Chen Xiang. They had exchanged blows with this group of people previously and knew that they were all very strong, but when Chen Xiang had just stepped into the Tai Dao realm, they believed that Chen Xiang's strength was similar to theirs. "Who are you, kid? The sons and grandsons of the 7 great villas villa masters and the high disciples of the leaderess, you actually dared to say such arrogant words to our Black Tiger Stockade village. Let me tell you, hurry up and sell it to us Gumai Dan at a low price, otherwise, don't think about doing business here in the Myriad Tao City. Do you know who the backer of our Black Tiger Stockade village's chief is?" Chen Xiang clenched his fist tightly, channeled the primitive Tao power in his body, and said in a deep voice, "All I know is that the BASTARDS of your black dog stronghold are all shameless dogs that can't get rid of their PISS. With that said, Chen Xiang took a step, and already appeared behind the big-sized man. The primitive Tao power that surged with incomparable rage, roared out angrily the moment it said Chen Xiang's arm. The big-sized man never thought that Chen Xiang would actually dare to make a move against him, and at such a fast speed. Just as he was about to dodge, Chen Xiang's fist had already struck his face. Boom! The shock wave was accompanied by a burst of intense fiery light as it exploded out. The scorching wave of flames made the Mei Jing store feel as if he was in a furnace. The leading man's face was smashed into pieces by Chen Xiang, as though someone had ripped a piece of flesh off his face. This kind of berserk power caused everyone to tremble in fear. "You? Ah!" The big-sized man covered his face and shouted in pain. At this moment, he was completely confused. Chen Xiang's punch earlier was filled with anger. His primitive Tao power was not just any ordinary Dao power. Adding to the fact that all 10 of his profound gates were open, Even the 4th or 5th stage of Tai Dao realm was not his opponent. "Hurry up!" the big man shouted in anger. "Cripple this kid!" Just as he finished shouting, the ghost-like Chen Xiang had already rushed to the back of the group and struck out his palm at the person behind the two. The berserk heaven-blasting palm's power, which carried the flaming force of an angry dragon, surged into the two people's bodies, shaking them and causing their chest to be ripped apart. Chen Xiang's shrinking step was extremely mysterious, moving as fast as teleportation. In the blink of an eye, it had already flashed past, and then a fierce fist struck over. Although being hit by his fist wouldn't kill him, he would definitely be severely injured. Boom, boom, boom. In just a few blinks of an eye, the entire group of Black Tiger Stockade Village were severely injured by Chen Xiang, and each one of them was thrown out of the window by Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang walked out and ruthlessly trampled on the burly man leading the group. He then punched him again and again, covering his entire body, and beat the burly man until he was like minced meat. "This is what I returned to you all along with the last time. When I go back, I need to tell your Black Tiger Stockade Village's chief that if he doesn't bring the 1 billion Dao crystal, I will personally fetch his dog head." Chen Xiang's cold voice carried an extremely insolent might, scaring the group of people to the point they struggled to get up, dragging their leader who was like mud as they swiftly fled. Jiang Xijing was already dumbstruck, trembling in fear. She never thought that the normally gentle Chen Xiang would actually be so terrifying when angered, and was even more impressed. She thought that Chen Xiang was only capable of refining pills, and was not very strong. "Mimi, how many Gumai Dan have you sold? How many do you have right now?" Chen Xiang asked. "I sold it for 30,000 crystals, that's 1,500 myriad Tao crystals." Jiang Ximei said. "All right, come with me." Chen Xiang immediately brought them to the store in Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa. Neither Tai Shangzhen nor the two Tai clan elders left. Tai Shangzhen saw that Chen Xiang had arrived and laughed. "You're here already." Chen Xiang nodded, took out 1,000 myriad Tao crystals and gave it to the two elders, and said, "Seniors, these are 1,000 myriad Tao crystals. But let me make it clear first, just now, I beat up that fellow from Black Tiger Stockade Village." Afterwards, Chen Xiang told them about the group of people who had attacked the Mei Jing store and how they had besieged him, making the two elders very angry. To think that a small Black Tiger Stockade village would be so arrogant. "I would like to see who the backers of the village chief is. Don't worry, since we have accepted your Dao crystal, we will definitely protect you." Tai Bao received Chen Xiang's Dao crystal and said, "This book is from 17K, read the original content immediately." C 2702. C 2702 10 million in a year, 100 million in 10 years, and he didn't even need to do anything. This was quite a high income, especially since these two elders didn't have much of a special background. In fact, there were many powerhouses and descendants who did not have any good methods to earn many Dao crystals. Hunting beasts were too tiring and dangerous, and refining pills was not something anyone could learn. Furthermore, it was tiring as well. Therefore, these two elders felt that accepting Chen Xiang's job was extremely worthwhile. "How about this, we will go to the Mei Jing store today. If they come back to the Mei Jing store again in the future and cause trouble, we brothers will immediately capture them. At that time, you can do whatever you want." Tai Bo chuckled. Black Tiger Stockade Village is also just a small force within the Western Tiger Mountain Villa. There's nothing to be afraid of. Just like this, Chen Xiang and the two elders returned to the Mei Jing store. Now, Jiang Xijing and Jiang Ximei also felt more at ease. The tyranny of the people of the Black Tiger Stockade Village was already known to everyone in the Myriad Tao City. However, normally, they only dared to bully those who had no power, but now they were beaten up and thrown into the streets. This had never happened before. At this time, Chen Xiang was busy tidying up the shop with Mei Jing sisters. The two elders had also wanted to help, but Chun Xiang did not allow them to do so, allowing them to sit by the side and drink tea. Those shops that cooperate with you are truly unloyal. They just got scared and didn't dare to make a sound. Chun Xiang thought that this plan was very safe. I didn't expect that either. Sigh, things are unpredictable. Jiang Sime sighed. Speaking of which, we are in charge here now, you can sell the gumaidan yourself. In any case, the shops that you are working with did not stand up at this critical time, and there is no longer a need to work with them. Tai Bo said. Although those shops have the strength, if they were to join forces, they could still suppress Black Tiger Stockade Village, and the one who supports Black Tiger Stockade Village. They were afraid of trouble, that's why they did not make a move. I felt that they looked down on you guys in their hearts, and thought that even if you were bullied by the Black Tiger Stockade Village, they would still look for you to do business in the future. Tai Bao also nodded and said, Seniors, we will just sell the gumaidan like this. Are we really not going to be bothered by other shops? Jiang Sijing asked softly. Little girl, although we are not the strongest here, but our parents have power in the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa, and are considered top 10 experts, and have a lot of authority in the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa. Other than the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa, if other powers knew that we were here, they would definitely not cause trouble. Even if they had the power, if they provoked us, it would definitely be very troublesome. Chun Xiang thought about it, also thinking that it would be great if he could sell it, he could earn more this way. Mimi, we'll sell it ourselves from now on. Don't sell it to those guys. Chun Xiang said. Jiang Sime did not answer immediately, but was thinking instead. To guard the store every day and sell it to a lot of people is very troublesome. I do have a good style. Jiang Sime smiled mysteriously. Tell me about it. Chun Xiang was very curious. Jiang Sime came in front of the two elders and smiled. Seniors, Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa should have many medicine shops in this Myriad Tao city. According to what I know, these are all opened by different factions within the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa. Not bad, although these shops do not belong to the same person, their relations. HI+P is still good, and they are evenly distributed throughout the Myriad Tao city. This is also to avoid compet. 1. Tie-in and conflict. Tai Bao nodded his head and laughed. Girl, don't tell me you want to sell all of your gumaidan to our Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa shops, that's fine. No. Jiang Sime chuckled. I want to sell the gumaidan to the two seniors. Our price is 500 Dao Crystal S per pellet, and the ones that are sold on the market is 700 or even 700 and 500. I can sell them to you too. Then, you two can add a few Dao Crystal S for sale to those shops. This way you can also earn a bit of difference in prices. Tai Bao and Tai Bo looked at each other, and suddenly felt that this idea was not bad. They knew that Chun Xiang had a lot of pills. Otherwise they would not be able to give them the 1,000 myriad Tao crystals. Furthermore, we can give you guys the goods first. Wait until you sell the gumaidan S, then you can pay us. Jiang Sime laughed. We have grown up, although we have done business before, we have never made a lot of money before. Little girl, tell us, if we help you sell your gumaidan, how much can we earn? Tai Bao asked. That's too much, so much that you can't imagine. That's more than if you took 1,000 myriad Tao crystals in a year. Jiang Sime laughed mischievously. Let me calculate for you guys. I now have around 500,000 gumaidan in my hands. If you 500 Dao Crystal S are to sell them, if you add 100 to the price, you can earn 100 Dao Crystal per pellet, after which you can obtain 500,000 pellets. That would be 5,000 myriad Tao crystals. When the two Tai Bao elders heard about the 500,000 pills, they were shocked. They were very curious as to how Chun Xiang had refined so many gumaidan. There really are that many. Tai Bao did not dare believe it. If there really is that much, I will help you sell it right now, and I will also return the 1,000 myriad Tao crystals that I took from you earlier. Jiang Sime handed over a storage bag over to Tai Bao. When Tai Bao received it and took a look, he was immediately stunned. When Tai Bo looked at it, his expression was the same as Tai Bao's earlier. "Alright, I'll sell it now, hee." Tai Bao was very happy. He could only earn so much, and that was only enough to let him make a few trips. He believed that the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa had the ability to eat that much. Before, Jiang Simei did not even look for those large shops, because large shops were not easy to talk about. However, Tai Bao and the others were different, because they all said that the status of the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa was very high. It was only when it was night time that Tai Bao returned with a smile on his face. It was obvious that his mood had improved by a few points. "This is for you. 250 million. As expected, Tai Bao sold all of those Gomaidan, and then sold 500 Dao Crystal S to Chen Xiang and the others, at the same time returning the 1,000 myriad Tao crystals. "Old Grandpa, how much did you sell it for?" Jiang Sijing was extremely curious. "I added 150, and sold 650 Dao Crystal S to them one pellet. In any case, I'm the only one selling them." Tai Bao laughed. "This business is worth it, it's just one vote, but it's already more than what we earned in the past." Tai Bo had also gotten half of the profit, so the relations, Hi+P between the two brothers were still very good. Tai Bao had increased by 150, so he had earned more than 70 million. "Alright, we'll be partners from now on. If anyone dares to cause trouble for you, we'll definitely let them have a good time," said. Cooperation with Chen Xiang and the others was much more worthwhile than charging them protection fees. At this moment, loud noises came from outside. With a boom, the door that had just been repaired was smashed open again. The Black Tiger Stockade Village's people had come. C-2703. C-2703 The Gomaidan in Tai Bao's hands were all sold to the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa's shops. The shops did not advertise that they were the two who were selling them, they only knew that it was a big shot inside the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa. Because he was selling a lot, it was just too shocking. In order to not cause a sensation, Tai Bao made those shops not to announce that they would eat so much, as long as they sold the Gomaidan like they did before. Therefore, the people of Black Tiger Stockade Village did not know that Tai Bao had already started working with Chen Xiang. "You bunch of bastards. When you see the sworn brothers of our chief and chief, hurry up and greet them." A man with a sharp mouth and monkey cheeks shouted. "Are you guys here to deliver the 100 myriad Tao crystals?" Chen Xiang asked. "Like I said before, if I do not deliver the 100 myriad Tao crystals, I will take away the head of your village chief. I wonder if the chief of the village will bring over the 100 myriad Tao crystals or your own head." Chen Xiang and the others saw the Black Tiger Stockade Village's chief, wearing a black cloak and armor. He was a middle-aged man with a big beard. Beside him was a slim middle-aged man wearing white clothes and holding a fan. "Arrogant brat, do you know who our Black Tiger Stockade Village's sworn brothers are?" The monkey-like man sneered. "He is the son of the Western Tiger Mountain Villa's internal affairs elder." Hearing this, Tai Bao immediately laughed out loud. "I was wondering who it was the little bastard who was hired by Western Tiger Mountain Villa." "What did you say?" His father was the Western Tiger Mountain Villa's internal affairs elder and was indeed in charge of odd jobs. It would not be bad to call him a servant, but to the man, this form of address was filled with ridicule and humiliation. However, even if he is the son of an elder of Western Tiger Mountain Villa, I am not afraid. Honestly speaking, the Western Tiger Mountain Villa has become more and more useless in the recent years. To actually be able to depend on this kind of business to support his livelihood, it is truly laughable. Tai Bao continued to mock him. "Old bastard, are you tired of living? You're courting death." The Black Tiger Stockade Village's chief rushed forward, holding a long blade in his hand, but just as he entered the door, Tai Bao's eyes flashed. 2 rays of green light shot out, followed by a dragon's roar, and a ball of green light struck the Black Tiger Stockade Village's chief's body, sending him flying. This is the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa's Green Dragon Law, a type of the Dragon Dao Law. You are people of the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa. Those disciples of the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa, who understood the rules of the Dragon Way, were not ordinary people. Those were people who obtained the legacies of the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa, people who were directly related to the people in charge of the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa. Junior, consider yourself sensible. You have your eyes on the Gumaidan here. They can make profits for you, using forced selling methods. This method is extremely despicable, and before that, your Black Tiger Stockade Village also stole the shops of these little ghosts. What do you think we should do with this account? Tai Bo walked to the front with his hands behind his back, and said with a cold smile, "Here are 100 myriad Tao crystals." The chief of the Black Tiger Stockade Village took out 100 myriad Tao crystals hastily. Their Black Tiger Stockade Village had been acting tyrannically for so long, but that was because they would never anger someone with power and influence. But this time, they didn't expect that Jiang Sime, the little girl, would actually invite a direct disciple of the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa. "Little girl Sime, tell me, how should I deal with them?" Tai Bao laughed. The Black Tiger Stockade Village's chief had already taken our shop, and now he is here SMAs. Plussing everything up. This is not something that can be made up for with the help of Dao Crystal. If we cripple him, he will fall onto the Meijing store. Jiang Sime said, then looked at the white-clothed man and said, "If it wasn't for this guy supporting us from behind, Black Tiger Stockade Village would not be so fierce. Compensate us with 1,000 myriad Tao crystals, or else we will end up like the chief." "You. 10 million, that's too much." The white-robed middle-aged man's expression was extremely unsightly. "If you don't give it, I'll kill you. If you want to live, it's the Dao crystal, you can't give it to me. Let your father send it over. We want to see how your father will react to the fact that you and the Black Tiger Stockade Village did this." Tai Bao said. After bullying Chen Xiang and the others over and over again, if Tai Bao and the others were to kill the middle-aged man, the Western Tiger Mountain Villa would not say anything. The Internal Affairs Elder was not an important person in the Western Tiger Mountain Villa, and his position was not high either. Just as the white-robed middle-aged man was hesitating, Tai Bo suddenly flashed and arrived beside the Black Tiger Stockade Village's chief. At the same time, he threw out a few palm strikes, causing the chief to scream miserably. The chief of the stronghold had done all sorts of evil deeds. He had done this quite a few times. However, he had never expected it to happen to him. "This is... I do not have that many 500 myriad Tao crystals at the moment. Give me a few days, I will definitely deliver it to you personally." The white-clothed middle-aged man took out 500 myriad Tao crystals and gave them to Jiang Sime. "No, you must stay here. God knows you will run up there." Tai Bo grabbed him. Just as the white-robed middle-aged man was in a difficult situation, a black-clothed elderly man walked over and handed over a storage bag to Tai Bo. "There are 500 myriad Tao crystals inside. He should be able to leave now, right?" This old man was the Western Tiger Mountain Villa's internal clan elder. When he heard that Tai Bao had sold a lot of Gumaidan to Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa's stores, he remembered that his son had allied with the Black Tiger Stockade Village to control the source of the Gumaidan. Then, he immediately rushed over. "Take care of your son. If this was in our Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa, you would also be punished. I never thought that the Western Tiger Mountain Villa would not fall to such a state." Even if Tai Bao faced the Internal Affairs Elder, he was not afraid, because he had strength and reason. This matter was finally resolved, and the Black Tiger Stockade Village was dissolved in one night. The half-dead chief was hung on an iron shelf beside the entrance of the Meijing store. This matter was quickly known to the entire Myriad Tao City. especially to the shops that were cooperating with the Meijing store. They were all extremely regretful at the moment. If they were to report up high and let the forces behind them help the Meijing store through, perhaps they would be the only ones selling gomaidan. Currently, all the gomaidan were in the hands of the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa, and they were even being sold at a higher price. Tai Bao, together with Tai Bo, earned a lot of Dao crystal from the collaboration between them and the Meijing store. This matter was also known to the people of the other villas, and this matter also made Tai Bao and the two elders feel very face, because they had earned a few thousand myriad Tao crystals without using any strength at all. Not only did they earn money, they also obtained gomaidan for the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa. This made the elders and villas of the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa have a whole new level of respect for them, and they secretly praised them. Chen Xiang also had to work hard to concoct pills now. What he was preparing to do next was to buy rare law beads, and that was to make preparations to go to Myriad Tao Mausoleum in the future. Myriad Tao Mausoleum was extremely dangerous. If there were any laws of flying and SPAC, there would be an additional safeguard for it. This book came from the 17K page, so the first thing he did was to look at the true contents of it. C2704. C2704 Chen Xiang had isolated himself for 10 days, and had refined a few 100,000 gomaidan. Right now, everyone in the Myriad Tao City knew just how effective gomaidan was, and the demand for this kind of pill was quite large, so it could be sold for a while. After coming out, Jiang Sime saw Chen Xiang and anxiously walked over, took out 2 storage bags and said, "One of them is a death law beads, the other one is a reborn law beads, both have 10. Chen Xiang took it and nodded. "All right, I'll help you guys refine it soon." Afterwards, he also gave the gomaidan to Jiang Sime. "Mimi, go and investigate what pill the Tai Dao realm needs to grow faster," Chen Xiang said. "All right." Jiang Sime was also doing his research everywhere these days. After all, this was a business, and he had to understand the market's needs. Right now, she had investigated that the Myriad Tao City still needed gomaidan very much. There were many people in the Myriad Tao City, and there were also many powers outside the Myriad Tao City who needed gomaidan very much. Consolidating cultivation channels was a headache for many people. Previously, Jiang Sime had been troubled for a period of time, but after eating the gomaidan, he was able to resolve it very quickly. Even if the current Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa offered a higher price, many people would still be willing to buy it. Chen Xiang continued to close up, this time refining his law beads. Jiang Sime wanted to cultivate the law of death. It was a type of code power that had a strong killing power. For a violent woman like Jiang Sime, it wasn't strange for her to train in this code. 100,000 law beads required 10 million won pellets, and Jiang Sime had only bought 10. After Chen Xiang refined them with the crash method, 1 pellet was worth 3.5, so more than half of the 10 pellets were completed. Then came the law of regeneration, which was what Jiang Sijing wanted to cultivate. A few days later, Chen Xiang had very successfully refined these law beads, and their effects had increased by several times. After he came out, Jiang Sime and Jiang Sijing had also gone to refine the law beads, and in this period of time, she had also sold the gomaidan to the 2 Tai clan elders. She gave all 205 million myriad Tao crystals to Chen Xiang. But to buy those rare law beads, it was only enough to buy 3. Of course, this was extremely fast, because as long as he used the crash method to refine it, 30 pellets would be enough for him to cultivate up to the level of a rare rule Dao line. "Seniors, it's not bad to get up." Chen Xiang laughed. "Of course, we are the big red man in the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa now. The Manor Lord thinks very highly of us." Tai Bo laughed. "It's all thanks to you." Tai Bao said they would visit here every day, and the Meijing store had also closed the door, opening it only to enter a small courtyard. Since they knew the relations, Hi+P between the two elders and the Mei Jing store, no one from the other shops dared to come. Instead, they secretly sent a message to Jiang Sime, wanting to cooperate with him, but was rejected by him. Oh right, is there anything going on with the Myriad Tao Mausoleum in this period of time? Chen Xiang came here to take a look at the Myriad Tao Mausoleum. Usually, he went inside the Myriad Tao Mausoleum at that time to investigate, and a lot of people would die every time he went there. Furthermore, the last time he went there, many strong warriors were trapped inside. My father was trapped inside for hundreds of years last time, and ran out when he opened it last time. Tai Bao said. The Myriad Tao Mausoleum does have some good stuff, but don't think too much about it. Usually only the top people would dare to go in, and us two brothers are only there to join in the fun. Tai Bo sighed. The last time it was opened, a strong cousin of ours died inside. So dangerous. Chen Xiang never expected that, no wonder so many people planned to stay. This Myriad Tao Mausoleum is also very strange. Sometimes it's very dangerous, and when you enter, you will die for no reason. Sometimes you will also be very safe, and when you enter, you won't encounter any dangers. Tai Bao said in a low voice, "This is a secret, no one else knows about this." "What can I get?" Chen Xiang asked. "Is it a cultivation technique or something like that?" So far, no one has ever obtained a cultivation method from inside. Instead, they have obtained some rare law beads such as the SPACE laws, the law of flight, the law of the dragon path, and so on. In addition, there are also the mysterious primal laws and the laws of creation. Tai Bao said in a low voice, "My father had only obtained 2 primordial law beads. This divine steel doesn't have the ancient code of creation, but there are also the laws of heavenly refining and the laws of sword. These are all rather special and rare." Tai Bo added. This made Chen Xiang even more curious. He had never heard of the existence of the heaven refining code before. Then how long will it take for it to open again? Chen Xiang asked. It seems like it won't be long, but we don't know the specifics either. We'll go back to the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa to ask for it later. We'll see if the old guy in the villa can figure it out. Tai Bao said. Little brother, why are you asking this? You can't be thinking of going in, right? Tai Bo was a little curious. Hehe, of course not. I just want to make some pills that will increase my cultivation level before we start. That way, more people will be able to improve their strength. Chen Xiang laughed. That's not bad. Every time before Myriad Tao Mausoleum opens, all kinds of pills will rise sharply. Now we really need to make preparations. Tai Bo laughed. After that, the 2 old men left to help Chen Xiang find the exact time of opening the Myriad Tao Mausoleum. Chen Xiang returned to his room, took out the Emperor's seal, and then entered it. He saw the green dragon. Senior Azure Dragon, have you heard of that Myriad Tao Mausoleum before? Chen Xiang asked. This green dragon was the green dragon of the Divine Wasteland. Myriad Tao Mausoleum, this is a very scary place. It's very easy for people to lose themselves in it. The green dragon suddenly said. You know a lot about the Myriad Tao Mausoleum. I heard that there are a lot of good things you can get from entering. Chen Xiang said. Furthermore, the few Dao patriarchs that entered previously caused many of the supreme divine arts to be lost. Really? Back then, I was once summoned by a mysterious voice to go search for this place. Before this, there were already many warriors who mysteriously went missing. The green dragon was suddenly very interested in the Myriad Tao Mausoleum. Chen Xiang told the green dragon the general situation of the Myriad Tao city. Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa, this villa sounds like it has something to do with me. Could it be that it was established by my disciples all those years ago? The Azure Dragon was very suspicious. Apart from me, the white tiger, black tortoise and the vermilion bird should be in the Divine Wasteland. If there's no news about them, they might be here. This book came from 17K. so the first thing he did was to look at the original content. C2705. C2705 Chen Xiang didn't want to look for them, because he didn't know if they were friends or foe. What he needed to do now was to earn Tao Crystal S and cultivate the spatial laws. This Emperor Seal was also one of Chen Xiang's killing moves. He would not use it so easily. Chen Xiang left the Emperor Seal and took out the Chuang's Hi plus God furnace. Right now, he was refining them into Tianhun Gold Dan S, so this was something that could cultivate spirit of the Tao Gods and could be sold at an even higher price. Right now I have to familiarize myself with refining Tianhun Gold Dan. If I want to earn billions to buy those law beads, just relying on Gomai Dan is not enough. Even if Chen Xiang could refine law beads S, he would need several dozens of them. If he wanted to cultivate the spatial laws of the law of flight, he would need 30 of each, which would be equivalent to around 6 billion Tao crystal. In a single day, he had refined 10 batches of pills, and this speed was still too slow for him, but he was still familiar with the process, and it didn't matter if it was slow, as he could raise it in the future. Furthermore, when he was close to refining, he had controlled multiple pill furnaces and used the Dawan refining method. Most of the time, he could control 10,000 pill furnaces to practice true 10,000 refining technique. As long as he had enough ingredients, he would be able to produce pills very quickly. For the past few days, Chen Xiang had been refining this kind of Tianhun Gold Dan, and the speed also continued to increase. The faster he refined, the more he got familiar with this type of pill. Now let's see if I can control 100 pill furnaces at the same time. Chen Xiang immediately released 100 magic method furnace, and then began to refine medicinal ingredient. Fortunately, with Jiang Xijing's heaven-defying laws of the earth, he was able to grow medicinal herbs quickly. Otherwise, if Chen Xiang were to use the creation God's spring to cultivate it, it would be very difficult for him to keep up with his consumption. Therefore, he planned to help Jiang Xijing cultivate complete rebirth laws. Jiang Xijing would also need 20 more rebirth law beads S that had gone through impact refining. This was equivalent to 200 million Tao crystal, and it was also very easy. After half a day, Chen Xiang had finally finished refining those 100 batches of Tianhun Gold Dan. There were 600 in each batch. Compared to the Gomai Dan, this speed was still very busy. When he refined Gomai Dan, he could refine 50,000 pills in a day. Looks like I'll have to continue practicing. I'll need 100 batches in 2 hours and 60 pills in one bat. Chen Xiang had only just started using the Dawan refining method, so it was normal for him to slow down. If he put 10 of them in, the difficulty would be even greater. Furthermore, 10 sets of medicinal herbs would be refined in an hour, which was also very difficult. He would need to practice a great deal in order to slowly master this step by step. After a few days had passed, Chen Xiang was now able to refine 20,000 Tianhun Gold Dan in one day. This was pretty good for him, and every time he finished refining, he would be exhausted and had done his best. Right now, he had 50,000 Tianhun Gold Dan in his hands, but he did not eat them. His current goal was to cultivate a spatial Tao vein. Because he couldn't use the power of SPAC, he felt extremely insecure. When he walked out of the secret room, Jiang Ximei and Jiang Xijing had also refined all of those law bead. How's the effect? Chen Xiang asked. The effect is very good. 1 pill is equivalent to 4 pills. I will probably only need to eat another 15 pills. Jiang Ximei laughed. At that time, if someone like the Black Tiger Stockade Village comes looking for trouble with us, I can beat them down myself. Mimi, this is for you. Go and contact the 2 seniors to discuss the price of the Tianhun Gold Dan. I will be preparing to sell the Tianhun Gold Dan as the main force. I think many people need it, especially the Tai Dao realm. Chen Xiang said. 50,000 pills. Did you refine it in a day? Jiang Sime asked. She already knew that Chen Xiang's pill refining speed was extremely terrifying. Of course not, I refined it in a few days, but the progress will be even faster in the future. With this pill, I think that it should be able to help a lot of Tai Dao realm cultivate to the peak in a short while. Chen Xiang laughed. Of course, the effects of the Tianhun Gold Dan are extremely strong. As long as enough Dao crystal are bought and eaten, their cultivation will definitely increase by leaps and bounds. Jiang Sime said. Chen Xiang looked at Jiang Sijing and said, Sijing, how are the medicinal herbs that I asked you to cultivate earlier? The planting conditions are quite good. Here. Even if Jiang Sijing took out a few storage bag, they were all arranged by her, there were still tens of thousands. The cultivation speed of the Tianhun Gold Dan wasn't as fast as that of the Gomai Dan, because there were many types of herbs that needed to be grown. Although Jiang Sijing grew the plant fast enough, Chen Xiang felt that it was still not enough. Sijing, how about this? You enter my divine sense sea and help me grow it. There's that water inside, and if you use that water to help me grow it, it should be very fast. Chen Xiang said. All right. Jiang Sijing agreed without even thinking. To many people, entering someone else's divine sense sea was not safe at all. However, Jiang Sijing trusted Chen Xiang a lot. After she entered Chen Xiang's divine sense sea, she was also praising the environment inside. She never thought that a man like Chen Xiang would be able to make her own divine sense sea look so beautiful. Jiang Sime contacted the two Tai clan elders. Chen Xiang entered the S.P.A. Sias underground secret room and continued refining the Tianhun Gold Dan below. There were tens of millions of people in the myriad Tao city, and amongst them, the number of Tai Dao realm S should be the most. Furthermore, the strength of the Tai Dao realm was not weak either. If the effects of the Tianhun Gold Dan could be spread, it would definitely sell very well. Chen Xiang could refine 30,000 Tianhun Gold Dan each day the fastest, and sell one for 2,000. That would be 6,000 myriad Tao crystals, and his speed would still be fast. Try to reach the level of refining a Gomai Dan. Chen Xiang only thought that way, but Tianhun Gold Dan were higher ranked than Gomai Dan after all, and they would need more medicinal ingredients, so they couldn't be as fast as Gomai Dan. Sijing, with the help of the Divine Spring, how is your speed compared to before? Chen Xiang asked. It's a lot faster than before. These Divine Springs are truly powerful. Jiang Sijing had already drank a lot before, so as to strengthen her own laws of the earth. If you were to cultivate a new rule Dao line, then you will definitely be able to grow medicinal ingredients even faster. Chen Xiang, Little Dong. Amen, with elder brother Shen here, I can quickly cultivate it. Before, I didn't even dare to think about this. Was extremely happy. Rare principle was a life's goal for the majority of people, but she was able to achieve it so quickly. Chen Xiang refined until night, and walked out of the BAS.ENT, wanting to give the 30,000 Tianhun Gold Dan pills to Jiang Sime. However, he did not see Jiang Sime here, but instead saw the two Tai clan elders. The Tianhun Gold Dan that the beautiful girl Sime brought with her today is not bad, she sold a lot of them in one go. I think her reputation will spread tonight. We'll add 200 to resell it. Tai Bao said. That's good then. The demand for this is much higher than the demand for Gomai Dan S. Chen Xiang laughed. Right, the Myriad Tao Mausoleum still has 3 more years before it opens. It's very close, get ready. Tai Bo said. Afterwards, the two brothers left Mei Jing's store and returned. They said that Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa had something important to tell them during this time. Just as they were walking, an arrow flew in, tied with a note. Chen Xiang opened it to look, and immediately he was enraged. Jiang Sime was taken away. The book came from 17K, so the first thing he did was to read the true contents. C2706. C2706. When Chen Xiang finished reading the contents of the paper, His entire body was trembling in anger, and the paper was also burnt to ashes by his anger. A guy like him must not be forgiven for encountering such a thing again. Just you wait. Chen Xiang calmed himself down. The note stated that they could not tell anyone else or they would make their move against Jiang Sime. Even now, Chen Xiang did not dare to go and find the two Tai sisters. I wonder who this guy is, and if he is someone from the Western Tiger Mountain Villa. I only have enemies like him here. Chen Xiang calmly thought about it. On the paper slip, it said that if he were to leave the city alone and meet with that person on a designated mountain peak, and agree to their conditions, they would let Jiang Si go. Chen Xiang not telling Jiang Si about this matter would make her very worried. Looks like I can only make a trip. Chen Xiang changed his appearance and stealthily left the city. He did not want to be caught midway. Right now, Chen Xiang's plan was to first agree to the other party's conditions, no matter what they wanted, and then use any means possible to take revenge on him after he saved Jiang Sime. Late at night, the stars were obscured by thick clouds. The sky was dark and the wind was cold. Chen Xiang came out of Myriad Tao City, and after traveling for 6 hours, he finally arrived at the peak of the mountain, which was also the place they had agreed to meet. After waiting patiently for over an hour, someone finally arrived. There were 4 people that had come. 2 of them were old men, and in the middle of the old man was a young man with an overbearing aura. It was obvious that he had an extraordinary background. The other one was Jiang Sime. She was tied up with a black rope, her face was pale white. It was obvious that the rope had a strange power. It could make Jiang Sime feel weak. Are you guys from the Western Tiger Mountain Villa? Chen Xiang immediately asked. That's right, we are from Western Tiger Mountain Villa. I am the descendant of the Manor Lord of Western Tiger Mountain Villa. My name is Hu Luo. The man had a disdainful smile on his face as he said, Your cultivation level is not that high, but your pill refining skills are quite good. We really shouldn't have let that internal affairs elder go. Chen Xiang snorted, then looked at Jiang Sime. Jiang Sime was currently extremely haggard. Her expression was full of resentment, and wanted to kill all the people who had grabbed her. From her gaze, Chen Xiang could see that Jiang Sime was willing to let him go, regardless of her, as long as he helped her take revenge. The old fellow you're talking about has already been killed by us. Regardless of whether you used to kill him or not, if he lost the face of our Western Tiger Mountain Villa, he would still die. Hu Luo rolled up his sleeves and continued to speak. I heard that you're very arrogant, and that you earned a lot of Dao Crystal, and you're also very young, so I'm very jealous of you. Don't you know our relations? HI+P with the Tai brothers? Chen Xiang's voice became ice-cold. Of course I know, but as long as you become my servant, I feel that we don't need to be afraid of them. As long as you become my servant and sign a contract with me in the master-servant contract, I will let this woman go. Hu Luo smiled sinisterly. You should be a righteous and loyal person, otherwise, you wouldn't have crippled that old fellow's son just because of anger last time. I'm not wrong, right? How is it? Do you think that I'm very smart and can easily control an alchemist like you? Hu Luo laughed out loud. The master-servant contract required Chen Xiang's willingness, so it did not have a good effect to capture Chen Xiang and force him into a corner. However, Hu Luo felt that even if Chen Xiang was unwilling, he would not be able to escape today. I'll give you some time to think about it. After all, those Tianhun gold Dan are not bad, and if they were in my hands, I would sell them for at least 3,000 Dao crystal. Hu Luo said. Chen Xiang suddenly took out a storage bag and said, How about this? I will exchange you 20,000 Tianhun gold Dan s that I just refined. 20,000 pills, you still have so many left. Hu Luo was startled, but he was not stupid. I don't want to, as long as you become my servant and help me concoct pills, then I will have as much as I want. Right, pour out all of your Tianhun gold Dan s. I want to see what kind of 20,000 are like. I have never seen them before. At this time, Chen Xiang sent a sound transmission to Jiang Sime, and said, "Later on, I will turn you into a little thing. When you realize that something is wrong with your body, you can try to jump over to my side." When Jiang Sime heard it, he blinked his eyes. Chen Xiang held the storage bag in his hand and waved it towards the sky. 20,000 Jinyuan Dao Dan S flew out like golden stars. Wow! Hu Luo looked at the Tianhun gold Dan in the sky and couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. "Haha, I'll have as much as I want in the future." Hu Luo laughed out wildly and caught the Tianhun gold Dan S that fell to the ground with both of his hands. The two elders behind him seemed to have never seen so many pills, and could not help but to look at them with interest. Just then, Chen Xiang's eyes suddenly shot out two rays of weak white light. The power of the transformation technique struck Jiang Sime's body. Jiang Sime immediately turned into a very small flea, struggling free of the black ropes that were tying her up. As she struggled to jump over to Chen Xiang's side, Chen Xiang also jumped over with his shrinking step. The moment he touched Jiang Sime, he brought Jiang Sime inside the Yu Yao mountain villa. "You're courting death." An old man came over when he saw Chen Xiang. At the same time, he struck out with his palm, sending Chen Xiang flying far away. When Chen Xiang fell from the tall mountain, he became a small stone, but the power of the old man's palm just now was extremely strong. The entire mountain shook, and many small stones rolled down, making it difficult for them to discover Chen Xiang. The old man was very powerful. Chen Xiang had suffered severe injuries from his big palm, but fortunately, he was still able to maintain his consciousness. "All of you go and find that kid. I'll pick this Tianhun gold Dan up and make sure to find him. If he goes back and tells that surname Tai's brother, we'll be in trouble." Hu Luo said anxiously, then quickly picked up the Tianhun gold Dan on the ground. The two old men also flew towards the direction Chen Xiang flew towards. Chen Xiang rested for a moment, stabilizing the condition of his body, then transformed into a small insect that quickly climbed up the mountain. "You don't need to pick them up. Follow these Tianhun gold Dan and destroy them." Chen Xiang went up and saw that Hu Luo was busy picking up the Tianhun gold Dan, so he took out the Emperor's seal and imprinted it onto Hu Luo. With a dragon's roar, it smashed onto Hu Luo's body, and the entire mountain peak was smashed into pieces by the force of the roar. Hu Luo was the villa master's grandson and had extremely strong defensive treasures on his body. After Chen Xiang left the seal, he saw that Hu Luo had only been sent flying, hence he also rushed towards the direction where Hu Luo had been sent flying. The two old men were all stunned. They never thought that after receiving such a heavy blow, Chen Xiang would still be able to run to the top of the mountain to attack him. They were currently extremely anxious. If Hu Luo died, they would definitely be in deep trouble. The first thing they would do was to look at the true contents of this book. C-2707. C-2707 Chen Xiang rushed towards Hu Luo, very quickly grabbing onto Hu Luo, and threw him into the Chuang's Hi+GOD furnace. Then, he turned into a rock, rolled down the mountain along with the other messy rocks. He was not afraid that the two elders would go back and tell Western Tiger Mountain Villa. When Western Tiger Mountain Villa did such a thing, it was already wrong to do it in the first place. If this matter were to spread, Western Tiger Mountain Villa's reputation would also be bad. "We're in trouble now. The young manor lord has been taken away by that guy. What should we do now?" An old man frowned, his face full of worry. "Go back and find the manor lord first. Check if the young manor lord's life orb is still intact. If it has already shattered, we have to plan for the worst." "Do we really have to go back? If the young villa master's life orb shatters, we might not be able to leave. Or perhaps, just by joining the Heavenly Dao sect, I will not be able to return to Western Tiger Mountain Villa." They were both old followers of the Western Tiger Mountain Villa's villa master, so their status in the Western Tiger Mountain Villa was not very high. Furthermore, they were now in charge of protecting Hu Luo. If Hu Luo died, their fate would be very serious, so they didn't dare go back right now. Even if we go to the Heavenly Law School, we will be in for a lot of trouble. If Western Tiger Mountain Villa finds out that we are in the Heavenly Law sect, he would definitely not let us off. We will just hide our one ties inside the Tiandao sect while disguising ourselves. As for today's incident, we will just stay silent. The Western Tiger Mountain Villa shouldn't be able to find us. Just treat it as us and the young villa master disappearing. All right, that's my decision. After that, the two elders left the mountain and Chen Xiang arrived at the foot of the mountain. She dragged her injured body and carefully returned to the Myriad Tao City. When he returned to the Mei Jing store, it was already dawn. Chen Xiang had released Jiang Sime from his secret underground room. How's your injury? Jiang Sime saw that Chen Xiang's face was ugly and asked anxiously. It's not bad, I didn't manage to injure Divine Sensei, but her body was heavily injured so she will be able to recover after a while. Don't worry about me, what about you, are you alright now? Chen Xiang laughed and asked. I'm fine now. It's all my fault for being too careless and not being on guard. Jiang Sime said as he blamed himself. I will definitely be careful in the future. Chen Xiang nodded, took out his chuangs. HI plus GO. D furnace and released Hu Luo who was inside. Hu Luo had not been killed yet, but he had also suffered quite a few injuries, and currently, he was lying on the ground in pain. This is the B.A.S.T.A.R.D. When Jiang Sime saw that she was thrown out, she was immediately enraged and stomped on Hu Luo fiercely. Furthermore, Jiang Sime had purposely stepped in the middle of Hu Luo's legs, causing him to scream miserably. Spare me, I won't dare to do it again. He had never thought that not only would Chen Xiang be able to save Jiang Sime, he would also be able to capture him. Until now, he still could not understand what methods Chen Xiang had used. Chen Xiang also went over to ravage Hu Luo ruthlessly. Such a fellow actually wanted to take him in as a servant and even used Jiang Sime to threaten him, causing him to get injured right now. Hu Luo took turns to be beaten up by Jiang Sime and Chen Xiang. Not only was he resentful, he was also filled with fear. This guy is the young master of the Western Tiger Mountain Villa. His grandfather is the master of the Western Tiger Mountain Villa. His father's strength is also not bad. Jiang Sime said. Then how should we deal with him and kill him? Chen Xiang said. They had let out their anger, but did not know whether to kill Hu Luo or not. Of course we have to kill this guy. If we let him go back this time, we will be in even greater trouble in the future. Jiang Sime's face was gloomy and cold, such an evil and soft B.A.S.T.A.R.D. Letting him stay in this world is practically committing sin. Don't. There will never be a next time. Hu Luo pleaded for mercy, but a fierce look flashed past his eyes, which was seen clearly by Jiang Sime and Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang had already taken out the heavenly magic sword, but Jiang Sime had already made his move. With a flash of red light, the red curved blade in Jiang Sime's hand chopped out, and cut off Hu Luo's head. Go to Hell, mother. You see Kerr. Jiang Sime waved his hand and released a ball of black air. The black air enveloped Hu Luo's body and ignited into black flames. This is the fire of death? Chen Xiang asked in surprise. Not yet, it's just a flame with a little power of death. If I could use the true power of death, I wouldn't be captured by this B.A.S.T.A.R.D. Jiang Sime said. She was also a decisive woman, especially after being taken away, causing Chen Xiang to be severely injured. She would not show any mercy when facing her enemies. Chen Xiang kept all of these things into the chuangs. HI plus GOD furnace S for purification, and then sat cross-legged on the ground for treatment. Oh yeah, the two old men escaped, worried that they would return to the Western Tiger Mountain Villa. This was what Chen Xiang was more worried about right now. Although the two elders went to the Heavenly Tao sect, it was hard to say whether or not they would spread the news to the Western Tiger Mountain Villa. We trust Senior Tai so much. It would be best for us to discuss this matter with them and let them prepare. Jiang Sime said. Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa is the strongest out of the few villas. They aren't afraid of Western Tiger Mountain Villa. Alright, now that things have come to this, we can only do it. They should be coming today to take a walk. When the time comes, you can go and discuss it with them. I'll heal up first. Chen Xiang was only injured in the flesh right now, but by using the primitive Tao power, he could quickly recover from his injuries. 7 days later, Chen Xiang had already recovered from his injuries and refined 20,000 Tianhun gold dan. He walked out of the secret room and anxiously went to look for Jiang Sime. He was worried that something would happen to Jiang Sime. How are you doing? Jiang Sime was in her room, but when she knocked, she immediately opened the door and asked. It's done, I even refined 20,000 Tianhun gold dan. Chen Xiang laughed. It was really a waste to throw away those 20,000 Tianhun gold dan previously. Jiang Sime couldn't help but sigh as he thought about it. He had only lost her because he wanted to save her. It's nothing compared to a beauty like you. 20,000 Tianhun gold dan are nothing. Chen Xiang snickered. Jiang Sime scoffed, and then pulled Chen Xiang into the room. I've already told the two seniors about that. Jiang Sime said. They feel that this matter is more serious, and they have already sent people to investigate the reaction of the Western Tiger Mountain Villa. They will tell us when the results come. Looks like you have to hurry up and train to become a Death Rule Dao line. You still lack 15 law beads. Right now, we have enough Dao crystal. Chen Xiang said. He already had more than 300 million Dao crystal in his hands. Even if he were to use 150 million to buy the law beads, he would still have nearly 200 million. Alright, I'll go now. Jiang Sime said. Don't go out during this period of time. I'm worried that another accident will happen to you. We'll talk about it when you're able to cultivate the Death Rule Dao line. Chen Xiang immediately stopped Jiang Sime. At this time, Tai Bo and Tai Bao also came. This book came from 17K, so the first thing he did was to read the true contents of the book. C2708. C2708 Chen Xiang and Jiang Sime anxiously walked out. They wanted to know the current situation of the Western Tiger Mountain Villa, and whether or not they could continue to stay in the Myriad Tao City was related to this. Chen Xiang had also prepared for the worst. If Western Tiger Mountain Villa knew that it was them who did it, and had steeled his heart to deal with them, at that time, even if Tai Bo and Tai Bao did not help out, he would continue to bring Jiang Sime out of Myriad Tao City for the time being, and wait for some time before changing his appearance to come back to earn Dao Crystal. Seniors, how are things at Western Tiger Mountain Villa? Chen Xiang asked. Western Tiger Mountain Villa already knows of Hu Luo's death, but we don't know the cause of death. They are currently sending many people to investigate, and I have also found the two old fellows who joined the Heavenly Tao sect. They have already been secretly killed by us two brothers. Tai Bao said. It's alright now, you don't have to be so nervous. Tai Bo chuckled. Those two old followers have not told Western Tiger Mountain Villa about this. Tai Bao shook his head. For now, I'm fine, but we can't guarantee that the Western Tiger Mountain Villa won't know in the future. What if Western Tiger Mountain Villa finds out? Chen Xiang asked. If Western Tiger Mountain Villa knows that you did it, we brothers will definitely protect you. In short, we won't cower. Tai Bao patted Chen Xiang's shoulder to show his determination. After all, Chen Xiang had allowed them to earn a lot of Dao Crystal, and their position in the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa had risen a lot. This would also allow them to gain more attention from the higher-ups of the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa, and be able to approach the core, and be groomed as the successor to the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa. Currently, the Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa only earned a few Dao Crystal S from the pills the two brothers received. This was something not even the other 2 generations of Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa were able to achieve. How about this? We can help you find another partner, even if the matter is exposed in the future. The pressure on us will be reduced a lot. Tai Bao thought about it and said, "Who are you looking for?" Chen Xiang also felt that being like this was not bad. If he could have 2 strong backing in the future, even if it would bring trouble, he did not need to worry. "Seniors, wouldn't this cause you to lose quite a bit of business?" Jiang Sime said. "Chen Xiang's pills are limited. If you find him a partner, it means that you get half of the benefits for him. This Chen Xiang brat has great potential, and there will definitely be a lot of things happening in the future. If we were to give up half of our profits, it would be equivalent to reducing the pressure by half." Tai Bao chuckled. "I believe that in the future, Chen Xiang will definitely concoct pills that would bring even higher profits. Right now, we have only been working with him for a short while, and have earned a lot of money. After all, there's still a lot of time." "What kind of villa is that?" Jiang Sime asked. "Phoenix Mountain Villa. Out of the 7 great villas, only the Phoenix Mountain Villa and our Eastern Dragon Mountain Villa have not had any conflict. The other villas all have at least a little." Tai Bao said, "Don't look at how friendly the 7 great villas look on the surface, and how they occasionally move around a little. Phoenix Mountain Villa is also one of the 7 great villas, and to be named after the divine phoenix is definitely related to the phoenix. I will help you all contact the people of the Phoenix Mountain Villa. You all don't have to worry about the people of the Phoenix Mountain Villa as well, they are still relatively easy to talk to. Over the years, the Phoenix Mountain Villa has rarely had any conflicts with other villas, and it has only been a few times with the Western Tiger Mountain Villa." Tai Bao laughed. After that, the 2 brothers left in a hurry. They said that they would go find the people from the Phoenix Mountain Villa and ask them to wait here. Chen Xiang and Jiang Sime were waiting for them here. "Mimi, what kind of person do you think the Phoenix Mountain Villa will send?" Chen Xiang asked. "He should be sending either the Qin Ke King or Feng Rushu." Jiang Sime said. "These 2 are the ones with more power in the Phoenix Mountain Villa. Qin Ke King is male, right? Feng Rushue is definitely female." Chen Xiang laughed. "Do they all say young people?" "Yes, probably the same as Hu Luo, being one of the more important ones among the 3 generations. Among the many villas, the 3rd generation is usually free and leisure, but within the Phoenix Mountain Villa, the 3rd generation Qin Ke King S and Feng Rushue have already begun to take charge of some of the Phoenix Mountain Villa's affairs. It's very rare. It's 2 of senior ties. They should be the 2nd generation, they seem to have nothing better to do." Chen Xiang laughed. "That's because of various reasons. They haven't been listed in the core of the family and won't receive much resources in the future. But now that you're cooperating with them, they should have already entered the core of the family and obtained more resources than before." Jiang Sime said. "Right, why do you have to be called Qin Ke King? What a strange Tli. Chen Xiang was very curious. He was the grandson of the great elder of the Phoenix Mountain Villa, and was born as a cyan sparrow. However, he had already evolved into a phoenix after that, and Feng Rushue was born as a phoenix. Both her parents possessed pure phoenix bloodline, so they were the granddaughters of the Phoenix Villa master. Qin Ke King and Feng Rushue are cousins, the 2 of them have a pretty good relations. Hi+P, Jiang Sime said, so, in the future, it might be the 2 of them. Jiang Sime understood these things very well, she had already investigated into it before. Before long, Tai Bo and Tai Bao returned. Just as Jiang Sime had guessed, the Qin Ke King and Feng Rushue had come to meet Chen Xiang. Qin Ke King was dressed in a beautiful blue robe, looking gentle and refined, with a refraction sword in his hand, and a smile on his handsome face. Feng Rushue was wearing a red and white chong sam. That luxurious dress looked like a fire that had been set ablaze by snow. Of course, Feng Rushue's appearance was much prettier than her long skirt. Her oval face carried a trace of a gentle and seductive smile, and she looked mature yet charming without losing any of her gentleness and elegance. She was a very beautiful woman. Ru Shui greets Master Shen. Feng Rushue saw that Chen Xiang was staring at her and laughed softly. He immediately bowed politely and said with his clear and beautiful voice, "Bluebird pays his respect to Grandmaster Shen." Qin Kai King was also very polite. He had long heard of Chen Xiang's big name, but this was the first time he saw him. He never thought that Chen Xiang was actually also a handsome man. "I dare not be a master. The two young elites of Phoenix Mountain Villa are too courteous. Please take a seat." Chen Xiang laughed and let them sit. Jiang Sime also gave them some tea. Tai Bo and Tai Bao had definitely talked about cooperation with them, and were only here to formally discuss the details of cooperation with Chen Xiang. Of course, Qin Kai and Feng Rushue couldn't understand why Chen Xiang would suddenly cooperate with them, and why he was the one who invited them here. Tai Bo was not stupid enough to tell the two of them that Chen Xiang had killed the young master of Western Tiger Mountain Villa, so he wanted to ask for more help. This book came from the 17K section, so the first thing he wanted to do was to look at the true contents of it.